Good evening. Welcome into this moment. Tonight, we shall embark on a shared journey of profound insight and tranquil understanding. The ancient wisdom of Zen Buddhism, particularly its emphasis on the middle way, invites us to explore the delicate balance between extremes. Before we delve deeper, if your spirit feels inclined, please share your location and the current hour where you are. From which part of our interconnected world do you now draw breath? This sanctuary offers an opportunity for inner cultivation, nurturing the consciousness and awakening the dormant spirit. Within these moments, you are invited simply to exist, to inhale deeply, and to allow these narratives to guide you inward. The inherent wisdom you seek already resides within. We are merely reflecting upon its presence. Should these reflections resonate with your deeper self, consider subscribing to ensure this haven of tranquility remains accessible to you. Now, take a gentle, expansive breath, settling fully into the present stillness. As we prepare to explore the delicate dance of balance, let us turn our attention to the tale of a gardener and his neglected orchard, a story that beautifully illustrates the perils of extremes. The gardener and the forgotten orchard. Let us now allow our awareness to drift towards a verdant valley, nestled amidst rolling hills that kiss the horizon with a soft, misty embrace, where the very air seems to hum with a gentle serenity. In this tranquil landscape, we encounter Kyle, a young gardener whose spirit is as earnest as the rich, dark soil he tends with quiet devotion. He is about to confront a profound lesson in the art of balance, a lesson that speaks to the very core of the middle way, reminding us that true flourishing emerges not from the overwhelming weight of excess, nor from the barrenness of scarcity, but from a harmonious attunement to life's subtle rhythms. This unfolding narrative invites us to contemplate the delicate equilibrium required to nurture not only external growth, but also the inner landscape of our own being, fostering a deep sense of groundedness and intentionality in all our endeavors, cultivating a spaciousness that embraces all possibilities without clinging to any extreme. Kyle had inherited a magnificent, yet deeply troubled, ancient orchard, a sprawling expanse of fruit trees that stretched across the gentle slope of the valley, their gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like ancient supplicants. The scent of ripe apples and pears, mingled with the earthy aroma of damp soil, usually filled the air, but lately, a cloying sweetness of decay hung heavy, a testament to the orchard's current disarray. Some trees groaned under the sheer volume of their unpicked bounty, their branches bowed low, laden with fruit that had ripened and then softened, now slowly succumbing to rot, a visceral manifestation of overwhelming abundance. Others stood stark and skeletal, their leaves sparse and brittle, their fruit small and shriveled, a poignant symbol of utter neglect, barely clinging to life within the parched earth. The contrast was stark, a visual parable etched into the very landscape, causing a deep ache in Kyle's compassionate heart as he walked among them, feeling the imbalanced energy of the place. For weeks, Kyle had grappled with this profound imbalance, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting approaches. He observed the trees that had been over-pruned by a previous overzealous caretaker, their growth stunted, their potential for fruit severely diminished, almost as if fear of excess had led to a form of self-imposed privation. Then there were the untamed sections, where branches intertwined so densely that light could not penetrate, fostering disease and preventing any fruit from truly thriving. A vivid metaphor for unchecked indulgence. He tried various methods, aggressive pruning, stripping away almost every new shoot in a frantic attempt to restore order, only to find the trees recoiling, their vitality diminished. Conversely, he allowed other sections to run wild, hoping nature would self-correct. But this only led to further entanglement and decay, a stark illustration of how radical acceptance without discerning engagement could lead to stagnation. Kale felt trapped between these two powerful forces, the compulsion to control and the impulse to completely let go, both proving equally detrimental to the orchard's health and by extension to his own inner peace, creating a state of disquiet within his embodiment. This struggle of Kale's is a potent reflection of the human tendency to swing between the extremes of indulgence and privation, a central theme in the Buddhist teachings on the middle way. When we cling to indulgence, we often seek pleasure and comfort without restraint, accumulating experiences or possessions until they become a burden, like the overladen trees whose fruit rotted under its own weight. This unchecked desire can lead to a sense of overwhelm, a loss of clarity, and eventually, suffering, as the very things we sought for happiness become sources of distress. Conversely, the path of extreme privation, or radical asceticism, involves denying ourselves essential needs or experiences, believing that suffering or self-denial will lead to enlightenment. Yet, as Kale discovered with the withered trees, this too leads to depletion, a lack of vitality, and an inability to truly flourish. Neither extreme fosters genuine well-being or sustainable growth. Both are forms of attachment, one to having, the other to not having, both obscuring the path to true freedom and spaciousness. The Buddha himself, after years of extreme asceticism, understood this deeply. He realized that true liberation lay not in self-mortification, but in finding a balanced path. His awakening came when he accepted a simple meal, understanding that the body needed sustenance to support the mind's journey towards insight. As it is often attributed to him, there are two extremes, O monks, which he who has given up the world ought not to follow. The habitual practice of self-indulgence, which is unworthy, vain, and fit only for the worldly minded, and the habitual practice of self-mortification, which is painful, ignoble, and unprofitable. This profound stillness of wisdom, passed down through generations, underscores the importance of a mindful approach to all aspects of life, encouraging us to cultivate a sense of equanimity and non-striving, allowing us to navigate our existence with grace and genuine presence, rather than being swayed by the powerful currents of excess or deprivation. One morning, as the first rays of dawn painted the eastern sky with hues of rose and gold, Kyle sat beneath a tree that, despite the chaos around it, bore a few perfectly ripe fruits. He noticed how its branches were neither overly pruned nor wildly overgrown, but held a natural, elegant curve, allowing air and light to permeate. It was not a sudden revelation, but a gentle unfolding, like a lotus blooming at sunrise. He began to perceive the orchard not as a problem to be solved with forceful intervention or passive abandonment, but as a living system requiring sensitive attention and discerning care. The realization dawned that each tree had its unique needs, its own rhythm of growth, and that his role was not to impose a rigid will, but to listen, to observe, and to respond with mindful intention, finding the subtle middle ground where life could thrive effortlessly. This visceral awareness shifted his entire perspective, inviting a sense of profound stillness. With this newfound understanding, Kale approached his task with a different quality of presence. He began to prune, not with a heavy hand of judgment or a desperate need for control, but with a light, deliberate touch, removing only what was truly necessary to allow the tree to breathe and bear fruit optimally. He understood that a little thinning here, a little support there, was far more effective than either drastic action or complete inaction. He also learned to nourish the parched trees, not by drowning them in water, but by providing consistent, measured hydration, allowing the roots to gradually draw strength from the earth. His actions became a seamless integration of effort and acceptance, a dance between shaping and allowing. He was no longer battling the orchard, but collaborating with it, cultivating a deeper bond and an understanding of its inherent wisdom, leading to a sense of groundedness in his approach. Kale's transformation exemplifies the practical application of the middle way. It is not about compromise in the sense of settling for less, but about finding the optimal point of effectiveness and harmony. It is about understanding that true balance is dynamic, not static, requiring continuous adjustment and an acute awareness of the present moment. This path encourages us to examine our own lives. Where might we be overindulging, creating burdens of expectation or material excess? And where might we be depriving ourselves, holding back from genuine experience or necessary self-care out of fear or attachment to austerity? The middle way invites us to cultivate discernment, to listen to our inner wisdom, and to respond to life's demands with a flexible yet firm intentionality, fostering cognitive ease rather than the strain of extremes. It is an ontological shift, recognizing the inherent perfection in balance. As the venerable Zen master, Alan Watts, often articulated, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Kale's journey from struggling against the orchard to dancing with its natural rhythms perfectly embodies this sentiment. The middle way is not a rigid doctrine, but a living practice of fluid engagement with reality. It is about recognizing that life is in constant flux, and our well-being depends on our ability to adapt with grace, neither clinging to fixed ideas of how things should be, nor passively allowing chaos to reign. It is a path of radical acceptance combined with conscious participation, a profound stillness that underpins effective action, allowing us to find resonance with the world around us, rather than being swept away by its currents or resisting its flow entirely. As Kyle found his rhythm in the orchard, cultivating a vibrant space where every tree could flourish in its unique way, we too are invited to cultivate such balance within our own existence. The wisdom gleaned from the gardener's journey reminds us that true nourishment comes from a discerning hand, one that understands the subtle interplay between attention and release, between effort and allowing. We learn that extremes, whether of overwhelming indulgence or stark privation, ultimately diminish life's inherent richness and vibrancy. Now, as this narrative gently concludes, let us carry this understanding of dynamic equilibrium forward, allowing it to settle deeply within our consciousness. In our next exploration, we shall turn our attention to the intricate world of a weaver, whose meticulous craft will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how the perfect tapestry of life is woven not through excess or absence, but through precise and mindful composition. The weaver's obsessive web. Let us now gently transition our awareness to a different setting, a quiet, sun-dappled workshop nestled on the edge of a bustling market town, where the rhythmic clack of looms provides a soothing counterpoint to the distant murmur of daily life. Here we meet Alara, a weaver of extraordinary renown, whose hands possess an almost mystical ability to transform raw fibers into tapestries of breathtaking beauty. Her reputation precedes her, whispered in hushed tones among merchants and patrons alike, a testament to her mastery of intricate patterns and delicate textures. Yet even Alara, with all her skill and dedication, is about to confront a subtle challenge, one that will test her understanding of true artistry and the profound wisdom of the middle way, revealing that even in creation, an excess of intention or a lack of presence can obscure the inherent beauty of the work. Alara's workshop is a sanctuary of sensory richness, a place where the air itself seems to hum with the quiet industry of creation. Piles of shimmering silk threads, rough spun wool, and delicate linen skeins are meticulously arranged, their colors a vibrant spectrum against the aged wooden shelves. The rhythmic creak and thud of the loom, a constant companion to Alara's concentration, fills the space. Yet, amidst this ordered beauty, a subtle disquiet has begun to manifest in her recent creations. Some tapestries, conceived in a burst of boundless creativity, are so excessively ornate that their intricate patterns become a tangled mess, their threads so densely packed that the fabric itself loses its fluidity, almost collapsing under its own weight, a visual metaphor for overthinking and overcomplication. Others, born from a period of artistic fatigue, are starkly minimalist, almost empty, their simplicity bordering on barrenness, lacking the soul and depth that once characterized her work, reflecting a fear of engagement. Alara found herself caught in a cyclical struggle, oscillating between these two extremes in her artistic expression. When she felt inspired, she would meticulously add layer upon layer of embellishment, incorporating every conceivable color and texture, convinced that more detail equated to greater beauty. The result, however, was often a dense, heavy fabric, visually overwhelming and structurally unsound, each added element detracting from the overall harmony rather than enhancing it. It was as if she was trying to capture every fleeting thought, every vivid image, without discerning what truly served the piece. Conversely, when she felt overwhelmed or creatively drained, she would strip her designs down to the bare essentials, choosing only a few threads, creating tapestries that were technically sound but emotionally sterile, lacking the vibrant spirit that her patrons had come to adore. This pendulum swing was exhausting, leaving her feeling disconnected from the joyful flow of her craft and eroding her sense of inner balance. This artistic dilemma faced by Alara beautifully mirrors the human tendency to seek perfection through either excessive striving or a complete withdrawal of effort, both of which miss the mark of the middle way. The desire for endless embellishment can be akin to our indulgence in constant stimulation, information, or material possessions, believing that more will lead to greater satisfaction or a richer life. However, just as Alara's tapestries became burdened by their own complexity, so too can our lives become heavy with superfluous attachments, obscuring our true essence and preventing us from experiencing genuine spaciousness and peace. On the other hand, radical minimalism, if born from a place of fear or avoidance rather than conscious choice, can lead to a barrenness of experience, a refusal to engage with the richness of life, leaving us feeling empty and disconnected, much like Alara's stark, lifeless creations. The timeless wisdom of the Buddhist tradition, particularly the teachings of the historical Buddha, consistently points towards this balanced path. It's not about denying the beauty of detail, nor is it about rejecting simplicity. Instead, it's about discerning the appropriate measure, the perfect placement, the optimal amount. As the Buddha taught, just as a skilled carpenter knows where to strike the wood to shape it without breaking it, so too should we know where to apply effort and where to release, to live in harmony without falling into extremes. This profound insight encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity in our creative and daily lives, recognizing that true beauty and functionality emerge from a mindful integration of elements, where each thread, each experience serves a purpose without overwhelming the whole, leading to a deep sense of cognitive ease and inner stillness. One quiet afternoon, as a gentle rain pattered against the workshop windows, Alara paused, her fingers tracing the intricate lines of a particularly unwieldy tapestry. She noticed a single, simple thread, a vibrant crimson, almost lost amidst the riot of colors. Yet this thread, though small, provided a subtle anchor, a point of clarity in the chaos. It was then that a quiet understanding began to unfold within her. The essence of beauty, she realized, did not lie in the sheer quantity of threads or the complexity of the pattern, but in the harmonious relationship between all elements. It was about allowing each color to breathe, each texture to speak, without demanding that any single part dominate the whole. This was not a compromise, but a revelation of integrity, a seamless integration of presence and intentionality. From that moment, Ilara's approach to her craft underwent a subtle but profound transformation. She began to weave with a heightened sense of discernment, asking herself with each thread, does this truly enhance the overall vision, or does it merely add clutter? She learned to appreciate the power of negative space, the quiet areas in a design that allow the eye to rest and the other elements to shine. Her tapestries began to embody a new kind of elegance, rich and detailed, yet possessing an airy lightness, a clarity that had previously been absent. The individual threads, whether silk or rough wool, now seemed to sing in unison, each contributing to a greater, more resonant whole. She embraced a radical acceptance of the inherent beauty in simplicity, while also allowing for the nuanced richness of complexity, finding the balance in her embodiment. Ilara's journey from the extremes of over-ornamentation and stark minimalism offers a powerful metaphor for our own lives and our pursuit of profound stillness. How often do we, in our desire for a full and meaningful existence, add layer upon layer of commitments, possessions, or even thoughts until we feel overwhelmed and lose sight of what truly matters? And conversely, how often do we, in an attempt to simplify, strip away essential connections or sources of joy, leaving ourselves feeling hollow? The middle way invites us to become discerning weavers of our own lives, choosing each thread, each experience, with mindful intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a spaciousness that allows for both richness and simplicity, understanding that true fulfillment lies in the harmonious interplay of all elements, rather than in the relentless pursuit of one extreme over another. This is a practice of groundedness, a visceral awareness of what serves our highest good. The revered spiritual teacher, Pema Chodron, speaks to this beautifully when she suggests, the path to freedom is to learn to open up to the present moment, to experience it as it is, without judgment or resistance. Ilara, in her quiet workshop, learned to open up to the present moment of her weaving, not imposing her will, but responding to the needs of the emerging tapestry. She found that the true art was not in forcing a design, but in allowing it to unfold with a gentle guidance, trusting the inherent wisdom of the materials and her own intuition. This radical acceptance of what is, combined with skillful action, allowed her to create works that resonated with a deeper truth, radiating a profound stillness that spoke volumes without uttering a single word, a testament to the power of equanimity. As Ilara's tapestries began to reflect a new kind of balanced beauty, vibrant yet serene, intricate yet clear, so too can we cultivate such a harmonious composition within our own lives. Her story reminds us that the pursuit of well-being is not about extremes, but about finding the elegant middle ground where our intentions align with our actions, creating a life that is both rich and sustainable. We learn that true artistry, whether in weaving or in living, lies in the discerning eye and the gentle hand that knows when to add, when to subtract, and when simply to allow. With this wisdom gently settling within us, let us now prepare to embark on a different kind of journey, one that involves a seasoned traveler facing a pivotal choice between two very different paths, further illuminating the profound insights of the middle way. The traveler and the two routes. Let us now allow our awareness to journey to a different landscape, a rugged mountain pass shrouded in the ethereal mists of early morning, where the air is crisp and carries the faint scent of pine and damp earth. Here, at a pivotal crossroads, we encounter Ren, a traveler whose weathered face and knowing eyes speak of countless miles traversed and many lessons learned on dusty roads and winding trails. Ren is not merely seeking a destination. He is on a sacred pilgrimage to a remote sanctuary, a place whispered about in ancient texts, said to hold profound stillness and wisdom. His journey is a metaphor for our own spiritual quest, a continuous movement towards understanding and inner peace, and the choices he faces at this junction are deeply resonant with the middle way, reflecting the often subtle distinctions between paths that appear enticing and those that truly lead to liberation. The crossroads itself is a place of palpable decision, where the wind whispers different stories down each diverging path. To the left, a broad, well-trodden road, invitingly paved with smooth stones, promises comfort and ease. Along its edges, small, brightly coloured stalls offer exotic fruits, sparkling trinkets, and melodic entertainments, their enticing calls echoing softly through the mist. This route, though seemingly pleasant, is known for its many distractions, its winding turns often leading travellers astray, away from their original purpose, their senses dulled by constant stimulation. To the right, a narrow, steep track disappears into the dense, silent forest, its path uneven and arduous, marked by jagged rocks and thorny bushes. It offers no immediate comforts, no promises of delight, only the stark challenge of ascent, a path that appears to demand relentless self-denial and unwavering perseverance, a stark contrast to the alluring ease of the other route. Ren stood at this junction, his gaze moving slowly from one path to the other, a profound sense of contemplation settling upon him. He had seen many travelers succumb to the allure of the easy road, their initial purpose gradually fading as they became entangled in its many diversions, their journey becoming an endless pursuit of superficial pleasures, ultimately leaving them feeling empty and adrift, lacking true groundedness. He had also witnessed those who chose the path of extreme austerity, believing that only through arduous suffering could true enlightenment be attained. Yet, many of these individuals arrived at their destination exhausted, embittered, and often more burdened by their self-imposed privations than liberated by them, their spirit lacking the spaciousness that true wisdom affords. Ren knew, deep in his bones, that neither of these extremes held the key to the profound stillness he sought. The answer lay somewhere in between, a path of intentionality and balanced effort. This dilemma faced by Ren at the crossroads beautifully illustrates the human tendency to gravitate towards either the path of indulgence or the path of extreme privation, both of which deviate from the middle way. The easy paved road, with its myriad distractions, represents the allure of sensory gratification and unchecked desire. In our lives, this can manifest as an endless consumption of media, food, entertainment, or material possessions, believing that happiness lies in constant external stimulation. However, this often leads to a dulling of our senses, a loss of connection to our inner wisdom, and a profound emptiness that no amount of external pleasure can fill, creating a cognitive ease that masks deeper disquiet. Conversely, the steep, desolate path symbolizes radical asceticism, the belief that suffering and self-denial are the only routes to spiritual growth. While discipline is essential, extreme privation can lead to resentment, physical and mental exhaustion, and a rejection of the body's wisdom, ultimately hindering rather than helping our journey towards liberation and embodiment. The teachings of the Buddha consistently emphasize the wisdom of avoiding these two extremes. He understood that true liberation is not found in either wallowing in worldly pleasures or in punishing the body and mind. Instead, it is found in the cultivation of a balanced approach, one that nourishes the body and mind sufficiently to support the spiritual quest, without becoming entangled in attachment or aversion. As he stated, the middle way is a path of balance, not of extremes. It is a path that leads to insight, to wisdom, to awakening, to nirvana. This radical acceptance of the need for balance, a profound stillness in discerning the right effort, is what allows us to navigate the complexities of life with equanimity, maintaining a groundedness that supports our journey towards genuine freedom and a seamless integration of mind and body. As Ren stood there, feeling the cool mountain breeze on his face, a memory from his youth surfaced. A wise elder had once told him, "The most significant journey is not the one that is easiest, nor the one that is hardest, but the one that honors your true purpose with steady, conscious steps." This ancient wisdom, like a compass needle finding true north, settled deeply within him. He realized that the ideal path was not about comfort or suffering for their own sakes, but about aligning his actions with his deepest intention. He began to look for a third way, a path that might not be obvious, a subtle trail that wove between the two extremes, requiring careful attention and an inner knowing to perceive. This was an ontological shift in his perception, a visceral awareness of a different kind of possibility, a path less traveled, yet inherently resonant. With this clarity, Ren began to discern a faint, almost imperceptible track that branched off from the main crossroads, winding gently between the paved road and the steep ascent. It was not overtly inviting, nor was it punishingly difficult. It required careful footing, a steady gaze, and a willingness to pay close attention to the subtle cues of the earth beneath his feet. This path offered moments of quiet beauty, a stream gurgling beside it, a stand of ancient trees providing shade, but it also demanded presence and awareness, as hidden roots and loose stones required his full attention. It was a path of mindful engagement, where each step was a conscious choice, neither hurried by the lure of distraction nor burdened by the weight of unnecessary hardship. He carried only what was essential, embodying non-striving. Ren's journey along this newly discovered path became a profound lesson in the middle way. He learned that true progress was not measured by speed or by the degree of hardship endured, but by the quality of his presence in each moment. He allowed himself to rest when weary, to savor the simple beauty of his surroundings, but he also maintained a steadfast focus on his ultimate destination. He found that by avoiding the extremes, he preserved his energy, maintained his clarity of mind, and cultivated a deep sense of peace within himself. This balanced approach allowed him to experience the richness of the journey without becoming entangled in its superficialities or overwhelmed by its challenges, fostering a spaciousness that allowed for profound stillness and genuine joy. This was a path of intentionality and embodiment. The wisdom gleaned from Ren's journey underscores the vital importance of cultivating a balanced approach in our own lives. How often do we feel compelled to choose between extremes, believing that success or happiness lies either in relentless pursuit of external gratification or in a rigid adherence to self-denial? The middle way invites us to step back from these binary choices and to seek a more nuanced, integrated path. It encourages us to listen to our inner guidance, to discern what truly serves our well-being and our highest purpose, and to move forward with intentionality and equanimity, neither grasping nor rejecting. This is the path of groundedness, a seamless integration of inner and outer experience, a radical acceptance of life as it unfolds, moment by precious moment. As Ren continued his mindful trek towards the sanctuary, his steps light and his heart open, he embodied the profound stillness that emerges from walking the middle way. His journey reminds us that the most significant path is not one of extremes, but one of conscious presence, where every step is an act of balance and discernment. We learn that true wisdom lies in navigating life's terrain with both grace and determination, neither indulging in every fleeting desire nor depriving ourselves of essential nourishment. With this understanding gently resonating within, let us now prepare to explore another facet of this timeless wisdom as we turn our attention to the meticulous craft of a master blacksmith, whose work with metal will further illuminate the transformative power of finding the perfect measure, neither too much nor too little. The blacksmith and the malleable metal. Let us now allow our awareness to drift towards a different kind of sanctuary, a place of heat and raw power, where the rhythmic clang of hammer on anvil echoes with ancient purpose. We find ourselves in a bustling village, nestled at the foot of craggy, pine-covered mountains, where the air is thick with the scent of coal smoke and the earthy aroma of damp wood. Here, within the warm embrace of a smithy, works Hiroki, a master blacksmith whose hands bear the calluses of decades spent shaping stubborn metal into objects of both utility and unexpected beauty. Hiroki is not merely a craftsman, he is a silent philosopher, his wisdom forged in the fiery crucible of experience, and his understanding of the middle way is about to be illuminated through the very metal he transforms, offering a profound insight into the nature of resilience and adaptability. Hiroki's forge is a symphony of sensory experiences, the roaring breath of the bellows, the intense orange glow of the coals, the hiss of quenching water, and the percussive rhythm of his hammer create a primal, almost meditative atmosphere. Sparks dance in the dim light, momentarily illuminating the concentrated lines on Hiroki's brow. He works with an effortless grace, his movements precise and economical, honed by years of practice. He observes his apprentices, young men eager to learn, but often struggling with the subtle demands of the craft. Their frustration is palpable, their efforts often resulting in flawed creations, a clear indication that true mastery requires more than brute force or casual indifference. It demands a deep understanding of the material and a balanced approach to its transformation, a seamless integration of intentionality and presence. Hiroki noticed a recurring pattern in his apprentices' struggles, a direct reflection of the very extremes the middle way seeks to transcend. Some, in their eagerness to soften the intractable iron, would superheat it, leaving it glowing a brilliant, almost painful white. The metal, though seemingly pliable, would become brittle and weak, its molecular structure compromised, ultimately fracturing under the slightest stress. This was akin to an excessive indulgence, an overwhelming application of force, believing that more heat meant more control. Others, perhaps fearing the destructive power of the fire, would not heat the metal sufficiently, leaving it stubborn and resistant. Their hammers would clang ineffectually against the cold, unyielding surface, creating only shallow dents and frustrated grunts, a clear parallel to the privation of effort, a refusal to engage fully with the necessary discomfort of transformation. This struggle to correctly work the metal is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the challenges of life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our problems with excessive force, overwhelming ourselves with endless effort, or succumbing to an unbridled pursuit of external solutions, we risk becoming brittle and breaking under pressure, much like the superheated iron. This overstriving, often fueled by anxiety or a need for control, can lead to burnout, exhaustion, and a loss of our inherent strength. Conversely, when we shy away from the necessary effort, refusing to engage with discomfort or to apply ourselves with sufficient dedication, We remain rigid and resistant to change, like the cold, unyielding metal. This privation of effort, born from fear or apathy, prevents us from truly growing and adapting, leaving us stuck and unable to shape our lives with purpose. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true transformation arises from a balanced application of wisdom and effort. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, just as a lute string, if too taut, breaks, and if too loose, produces no sound, so too should effort be balanced, neither too much nor too little. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of finding the optimal temperature for our endeavors, the precise amount of pressure to apply, and the exact moment to release. It is about cultivating a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the process, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with challenges without becoming entangled in the extremes of over-control or under-engagement, fostering a deep sense of groundedness and intentionality. One evening, after his apprentices had departed, their efforts leaving behind a collection of flawed pieces, Hiroki sat by the dying embers of the forge. He picked up a perfectly formed, gleaming sword blade he had crafted years ago, feeling its balanced weight, its flexible strength. He remembered the countless hours he had spent, not just hammering, but observing, listening to the metal, feeling its subtle resistance, knowing precisely when to return it to the fire, when to strike, and when to let it cool. It was a dance, a conversation between his will and the metal's inherent nature. He realized that true mastery was not about imposing his will, but about collaborating with the material, respecting its properties, and guiding it with a gentle yet firm hand, a seamless integration of presence and action. From that day forward, Hiroki began to teach his apprentices with a renewed emphasis on this subtle balance. He encouraged them not just to observe the color of the metal in the fire, but to feel its vibration, to listen to the sound it made under the hammer. He taught them patience, the wisdom of waiting for the right moment, and the courage to apply just the right amount of force, neither overwhelming the metal nor neglecting its potential. He guided them to understand that the strength and flexibility of the finished piece depended entirely on this delicate equilibrium, this continuous adjustment between heating and cooling, striking and resting, shaping and allowing. It was an embodiment of the middle way, an ontological shift in their perception of craft. Hiroki's forge, with its interplay of fire and metal, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our pursuit of personal growth or external success, push ourselves to the brink of exhaustion, believing that relentless effort is the only path? Or conversely, how often do we shy away from the necessary challenges, fearing discomfort, and remaining stagnant? The middle way invites us to become master blacksmiths of our own existence, learning to apply the right amount of heat and pressure to our experiences. It encourages us to cultivate resilience, not through brute force, but through a flexible strength born of balanced engagement, allowing us to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing our core integrity, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease. The eminent Zen philosopher, Alan Watts, often spoke of the importance of allowing things to unfold naturally rather than forcing outcomes. He said, "Trying to manage things, trying to force them, is like trying to gather water in a net. The harder you try, the more it slips through." Hiroki's realization that he needed to collaborate with the metal rather than dominate it perfectly aligns with this profound insight. It is a radical acceptance of the inherent nature of things, combined with skillful, mindful action. This path of non-striving, of finding the precise measure, allows us to shape our lives with wisdom and grace, creating a profound stillness that resonates with the natural flow of existence, rather than struggling against its currents, leading to a groundedness that supports all endeavors. As Hiroki's apprentices began to forge their metal with a newfound understanding of balance, creating pieces that were both strong and beautiful, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The lesson of the blacksmith reminds us that true strength and flexibility emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming force or passive neglect, but from the harmonious interplay of effort and release, of heat and cool, of action and observation. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect rhythm that allows us to shape our experiences with intentionality and grace. Now, with the resonant clang of the hammer still echoing gently in our minds, let us turn our attention to a different form of artistry, the delicate strokes of a master calligrapher whose work with ink and brush will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how clarity and substance are found in perfect proportion. The calligrapher and the diluted ink. Let us now allow our awareness to drift towards a space of profound quietude and delicate artistry. A serene studio bathed in the soft, diffused light of a morning sun, where the subtle fragrance of aged paper and sumi ink perfumes the air. Here, in this tranquil sanctuary, we encounter May, a calligrapher whose brushstrokes are renowned for their elegant precision and the deep spirit they convey. Her hands, graceful and steady, move with a practiced fluidity that belies the intense concentration required for her craft. May is a living embodiment of artistic discipline, yet she too is about to confront a subtle challenge that will deepen her understanding of the middle way, revealing how even in the quiet act of creation, the balance between substance and subtlety is paramount for conveying authentic truth and fostering a profound stillness. May's studio is a testament to minimalist beauty, designed to eliminate distraction and foster deep focus. A polished wooden table, a few meticulously arranged brushes, inkstones, and stacks of fine rice paper are all that adorn the space. The rhythmic, almost meditative sound of her ink stick grinding against the stone, releasing the rich, earthy scent of sumi, is often the only sound. Yet, lately, May has been observing a subtle yet persistent flaw in her own work, a struggle with the very medium she so reveres. Some characters, when she felt a surge of passion, were rendered with ink so dense and thick that they bled into the delicate fibers of the paper, obscuring the nuanced details of her strokes, a powerful metaphor for overexpression and the burden of too much. Others, created during moments of self-doubt, were too faint, almost transparent, the ink so diluted that the characters lacked definition and presence, their message barely discernible, reflecting a lack of conviction or engagement. May found herself caught in this frustrating oscillation, a dance between oversaturation and underrepresentation. When her spirit was overflowing with a desire to convey a profound truth, she would grind her ink with such intensity, making it so concentrated that her brushstrokes, though forceful, would lose their crispness, bleeding into an indistinct blur. The message, intended to be powerful, became muddled, its clarity lost in the sheer volume of pigment. Conversely, when she felt uncertain or hesitant, she would dilute her ink excessively, hoping to achieve a delicate, ethereal quality. But the resulting characters were weak, insubstantial, barely leaving a mark on the paper, failing to convey any real depth or conviction. This pendulum swing between extremes left her feeling disconnected from the true essence of her art, eroding her sense of equanimity and her capacity for seamless integration. This artistic struggle of May's offers a poignant parallel to our own attempts to communicate and live authentically. deeply illustrating the principles of the middle way. When we approach life with an overwhelming intensity, speaking or acting with too much force or an excess of emotional energy, our message can become muddled, our intentions misunderstood, and our actions counterproductive, much like May's bleeding characters. This overexpression, often driven by a need to be heard or seen, can alienate others and obscure the very truth we wish to convey, creating a cognitive ease that masks deeper issues. Conversely, when we hold back, speaking tentatively or acting with insufficient conviction, our message can be lost, our presence diminished, and our potential unrealized, much like the diluted, faint characters. This privation of self-expression leaves us feeling unseen and unheard, lacking groundedness and true embodiment. The profound wisdom of Zen Buddhism, particularly the teachings that emphasize clarity and direct experience, offers invaluable guidance here. It is not about shouting our truths from the rooftops, nor is it about whispering them so softly that they are lost in the wind. It is about finding the perfect resonance, the precise measure of expression that allows our message to be received with clarity and impact. As the Zen master Shunryu Suzuki taught, "In the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind there are few." This few refers to the discerning precision, the non-striving for excess, the radical acceptance of what is essential. It is about cultivating a sense of spaciousness around our words and actions, allowing them to emerge from a place of profound stillness and intentionality, rather than from the reactive pull of extremes. One afternoon, as the setting sun cast long shadows across her studio, May watched a single drop of perfectly mixed ink fall onto a piece of rice paper. It spread just so, creating a clear, vibrant circle with crisp edges, neither bleeding nor fading. A quiet understanding bloomed within her. The true power of calligraphy, she realized, lay not in the quantity of ink, but in its perfect consistency, allowing the brush to move with effortless grace, revealing the inherent beauty of each stroke. It was about respect for the medium, for the paper, and for the message itself. She understood that clarity and substance were not achieved through overwhelming force or timid reserve, but through a precise mindful balance, a visceral awareness of the moment, an ontological shift in her creative process. From that day forward, May approached her ink preparation with a heightened sense of presence. She learned to listen to the subtle grinding of the ink stick, to feel the changing viscosity of the liquid with her brush, knowing instinctively when it had reached the optimal consistency. Her brushstrokes became imbued with a new kind of vitality, clear, strong, yet possessing a delicate lightness. Each character she created was a testament to balance, conveying its meaning with an undeniable presence, neither overbearing nor ephemeral. Her art became a seamless integration of her inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who beheld her work. May's journey from the extremes of dense and diluted ink offers a potent metaphor for how we navigate the expression of our own truths and our engagement with the world. How often do we, in our eagerness to be understood, over-explain, overshare, or overwhelm others with our intensity, losing the clarity of our message? And conversely, how often do we, out of fear or uncertainty, hold back, dilute our true feelings, and fail to express ourselves with the conviction necessary to make an impact? The middle way invites us to become mindful calligraphers of our own lives, choosing our words and actions with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between clarity and substance, allowing our authentic voice to emerge with both power and grace, fostering a deep sense of groundedness and resonant presence in all our interactions. The revered spiritual teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, often spoke of mindful speech, emphasizing the importance of speaking words that are true, kind, and helpful, and spoken at the right time. May's transformation in her calligraphy perfectly embodies this principle of mindful expression. It is not about saying everything, nor about saying nothing, but about speaking with a precise, balanced clarity that honors both the message and the receiver. This practice of non-striving, of finding the perfect consistency, allows us to communicate with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and understanding, rather than creating confusion or emptiness. It is a radical acceptance of the power of measured expression, a seamless integration of heart and mind, leading to cognitive ease. As May's elegant characters began to convey their truths with perfect clarity and substance, we too are invited to cultivate such a harmonious expression within our own lives. The calligrapher's story reminds us that authentic communication and genuine presence emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming force or timid reserve, but from the balanced interplay of conviction and sensitivity, of substance and spaciousness. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect consistency, that allows our inner truth to shine forth with both power and grace. With the delicate strokes of May's brush still gently imprinting upon our minds, let us now turn our attention to the melodic world of a solitary shepherd, whose simple flute will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true harmony is found in the discerning arrangement of notes and silences, neither too many nor too few. The solitary shepherd's flute. Let us now allow our awareness to drift towards a serene and expansive landscape, where rolling hills stretch endlessly beneath a vast cerulean sky, and the gentle whisper of the wind through tall grasses is the dominant sound. Here, amidst his flock of peacefully grazing sheep, we encounter Lior, a young shepherd whose days are spent in quiet contemplation. His only companions, the bleating of his charges and the melodies he coaxes from his simple wooden flute. Lior is not merely a caretaker of sheep. He is a silent musician, his soul attuned to the subtle harmonies of nature, and his journey with his flute is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true melody, like true peace, emerges from a delicate balance between sound and silence, between expression and spaciousness, fostering a deep sense of presence and equanimity. Lior's life on the hills is one of profound simplicity, a seamless integration with the natural world. The crisp morning air, the warmth of the midday sun, the cool embrace of twilight, all are felt with an acute visceral awareness. The rhythmic tinkling of the sheep's bells, the distant cry of a hawk, and the rustle of leaves form the backdrop to his days. He often observes his fellow shepherds, some of whom try to impress with their flutes, playing overly complex, frantic tunes, a whirlwind of notes that ultimately lack coherence and soul, a metaphor for overstimulation and the burden of excess. Others, perhaps out of shyness or a lack of inspiration, play only a single, repetitive note, a monotonous drone that offers no melody, no journey, leaving the listener yearning for depth, reflecting a privation of expression and a fear of engagement. Lior found himself subtly influenced by these contrasting approaches, his own playing sometimes veering towards one extreme or the other. In moments of youthful exuberance, he would attempt to mimic the complex flourishes of the more showy shepherds, adding too many trills and runs, his fingers flying across the holes of his flute in a frantic attempt to impress. The resulting sound, however, was often muddled and hurried, losing the clarity and emotional resonance he yearned for. A clear case of overwhelming the listener with an excess of sound. Conversely, When he felt melancholic or uninspired, his melodies would become overly sparse, almost bare, with long, empty pauses between notes that felt more like silences than intentional spaces, leaving his tunes feeling incomplete and lacking the vibrant spirit that true music embodies, a privation of melodic richness. This challenge faced by Lior in finding the perfect balance between complexity and simplicity in his music is a beautiful analogy for our own lives and our quest for profound stillness. When we attempt to fill every moment with activity, sound, or information, seeking constant stimulation, we risk creating a cacophony of experience, overwhelming ourselves and losing the clarity of our own inner melody. This indulgence in constant external input can lead to a sense of exhaustion and a disconnection from our authentic self, hindering our capacity for genuine presence. Conversely, a complete withdrawal, a refusal to engage with the world or to express ourselves, can lead to a barrenness of experience, a lack of connection, and a stifling of our creative spirit, much like Lior's overly sparse tunes. Neither extreme fosters true harmony or a deep sense of groundedness. The ancient teachings of Zen Buddhism consistently point to the wisdom of the middle way, not just in action, but in the very fabric of our being. It is about understanding that true richness does not come from an endless accumulation of notes, but from the mindful arrangement of sound and silence, where each element enhances the other. As the Zen master, Dogen, once wrote, "To study the way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self." This forgetting of the self, in this context, refers to transcending the ego's desire for either endless indulgence or rigid privation, allowing the inherent melody of life to unfold naturally. It encourages us to cultivate a sense of spaciousness, a non-striving attitude that allows for both vibrant expression and profound stillness, finding equanimity in the ebb and flow of existence. One particularly still afternoon, as the sun dipped towards the western hills, casting long golden shadows across the pastures, Lior played a simple, unadorned tune. He noticed how the spaces between the notes were just as important as the notes themselves, allowing each sound to resonate fully before the next emerged. The silence was not an absence, but a pregnant pause, a canvas upon which the melody was painted. It was then that a profound understanding blossomed within him. True harmony was not about the quantity of notes, but about the quality of their interplay with silence, a seamless integration of sound and stillness. This was an ontological shift in his perception, a visceral awareness of the power of measured expression, a radical acceptance of the inherent rhythm of life. From that day forward, Lior's approach to his flute playing underwent a subtle but powerful transformation. He no longer strove to play complex pieces or to fill every moment with sound. Instead, he played with a heightened sense of presence, allowing each note to emerge with clarity and intention, and each pause to hold its own weight. His melodies became imbued with a new kind of depth and resonance, simple yet profound, speaking directly to the heart. The sheep, too, seemed to respond to this newfound harmony, grazing more peacefully, their bells chiming in gentle rhythm with his unhurried tunes. He was no longer trying to force a melody, but allowing it to flow through him, embodying the middle way in every breath and every note. Lior's journey with his flute offers a beautiful metaphor for how we can cultivate harmony and profound stillness in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for a rich and meaningful existence, feel compelled to fill every moment with activity, every conversation with words, every thought with analysis, creating a relentless internal and external noise? And conversely, how often do we, out of fear or apathy, withdraw so completely that our lives become devoid of vibrant expression and meaningful connection? The middle way invites us to become mindful composers of our own existence, learning to appreciate the interplay of activity and rest, of expression and silence. It encourages us to cultivate a spaciousness that allows for both engagement and profound stillness, understanding that true richness lies in the balanced rhythm of life, fostering cognitive ease. The revered spiritual teacher, Jon Kabat-Zinn, often speaks of mindfulness as the awareness that arises through paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Leo, in his quiet realization about the importance of silence in his music, perfectly embodies this mindful attention. He learned to listen not just to the notes, but to the spaces between them, to the entire soundscape of his playing. This practice of non-striving, of finding the precise measure, allows us to create a life that resonates with a deeper truth, radiating a profound stillness that speaks volumes without the need for constant noise or distraction. It is a radical acceptance of the inherent beauty in equilibrium, a seamless integration of all parts, leading to an inner groundedness. As Leo's melodies began to echo through the hills with a new kind of balanced beauty, simple yet profound, vibrant yet serene, we too are invited to cultivate such a harmonious composition within our own lives. The shepherd's story reminds us that true richness and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming sound or stark silence, but from the balanced interplay of expression and spaciousness, of engagement and rest. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect rhythm that allows our inner melody to unfold with both power and grace. With the gentle notes of Leah's flute still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of wisdom, as we observe the meticulous craft of an old fisherman whose pursuit of the perfect net will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true abundance is found in the discerning balance between effort and acceptance. The fisherman and the perfect net. Let us now allow our awareness to drift towards a tranquil coastal village, where the air is perpetually kissed by the briny scent of the sea, and the rhythmic lull of waves against the shore provides a timeless soundtrack. Here, by the weathered docks where fishing boats bob gently, we encounter Kaito, an old fisherman whose hands, gnarled and strong, tell tales of countless sunrises spent upon the vast, shimmering waters. Kaito is not merely a provider, he is a silent sage of the sea, his wisdom honed by the unpredictable rhythms of the ocean, and his pursuit of the perfect fishing net is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true abundance emerges from a delicate balance between effort and acceptance, between skill and surrender, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Kaito's life is inextricably linked to the sea, a seamless integration with its powerful, ever-changing moods. The cries of gulls, the creak of ropes, and the distant roar of the open ocean are the familiar sounds that accompany his days. He often observes the younger, more impetuous fishermen, some of whom craft nets of enormous size, believing that sheer scale will guarantee a bountiful catch. Yet these oversized nets often tear under their own weight or become entangled in the underwater currents, yielding little more than frustration and wasted effort. A clear metaphor for overstriving and the burden of excessive ambition. Others, perhaps out of cynicism or a lack of dedication, use nets that are too small, barely adequate for catching even a handful of fish, reflecting a privation of effort and a missed opportunity for abundance, a fear of engagement with life's full potential. Kaito, in his younger days, had also fallen prey to these extremes, grappling with the subtle art of net making. He remembered vividly the frustration of his early attempts. crafting nets with meshes so vast they allowed all but the largest fish to escape, or so fine and dense they became heavy and unmanageable, easily snagging on debris and tearing. The former represented a kind of indulgence in ease, a hope that minimal effort would yield maximum results, leading to scarcity. The latter, an overzealous attempt at control, believing that every single fish must be caught, only led to damage, exhaustion, and ultimately a diminished catch. This oscillating struggle left him feeling disconnected from the natural flow of the sea, eroding his sense of equanimity and his capacity for seamless integration with the ocean's rhythm. This challenge faced by Kaito in finding the optimal design for his fishing net is a profound analogy for our own lives and our pursuit of true abundance and profound stillness. When we approach our goals with excessive force or an overwhelming desire for control, attempting to grasp every opportunity or accumulate every possible outcome, we risk overwhelming ourselves, becoming entangled in our own efforts, and ultimately achieving less. Much like Kaito's oversized, tearing nets, this overstriving, often fueled by anxiety or a fear of scarcity, can lead to burnout and a loss of clarity. Conversely, when we approach life with a lack of effort or a passive resignation, failing to prepare or engage with sufficient intention, we miss out on opportunities for growth and abundance, leaving us feeling unfulfilled and lacking groundedness, much like Kaito's small, ineffective nets. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true abundance and liberation arise from a balanced application of skill and wisdom, effort and acceptance. It is about understanding that while effort is necessary, attachment to the outcome can be detrimental. As the Buddha taught, the wise person does not cling to pleasure, nor does he cling to pain. He does not cling to anything, for he knows that all things are impermanent. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of finding the optimal measure in our endeavors, the precise amount of effort to apply, and the wisdom to know when to release our grip and allow life to unfold. It is about cultivating a sense of equanimity, a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with life's challenges without becoming entangled in the extremes of over-control or under-engagement, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness. One calm morning, as Kaito cast his small, meticulously crafted net into the shimmering waters, he watched it unfurl with effortless grace. He noticed how the size of the mesh was just right, allowing smaller, younger fish to pass through, ensuring future abundance while effectively catching the mature ones. It was not a sudden revelation, but a gentle unfolding, like the tide receding. He realized that the perfect net was not about catching everything, but about catching what was appropriate, what was sustainable. It was a balance between his skillful craftsmanship and his respect for the ocean's ecosystem, a seamless integration of intentionality and environmental awareness. This was an ontological shift in his perception, a visceral awareness of the interconnectedness of all life. From that day forward, Kaito approached his net making and his fishing with a heightened sense of presence and discernment. He no longer strove for the largest catch, but for the most sustainable and harmonious one. He taught the younger fishermen that the art of fishing was not just about the size of the net, but about understanding the currents, the seasons, and the behavior of the fish. He encouraged them to craft nets that were strong yet flexible, large enough to be effective, yet small enough to be manageable and respectful of the delicate balance of the sea. He guided them to understand that true abundance came from this delicate equilibrium, this continuous adjustment between effort and acceptance, between taking and preserving, embodying the middle way in every cast. Kaito's journey with his fishing net offers a powerful metaphor for how we can cultivate true abundance and profound stillness in our own lives. How often do we, in our pursuit of success or happiness, chase after every opportunity with overwhelming force, attempting to grasp everything, only to find ourselves exhausted and unfulfilled. And conversely, how often do we, out of fear or apathy, fail to engage with the world, missing out on the richness and opportunities that life offers? The middle way invites us to become mindful fishermen of our own existence, learning to cast our nets with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between effort and acceptance, allowing us to engage with the world fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of attachment, fostering cognitive ease. The revered spiritual teacher Ajahn Chah often spoke of the importance of letting go, not as an act of surrender to passivity, but as an active process of releasing attachment. He said, "If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace." Kaito's realization that the perfect net allowed for both catching and letting go perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that true abundance includes the wisdom of what to release, allowing for future growth and sustainable well-being. This radical acceptance of the natural flow, combined with skillful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless grasping or passive resignation. As Kaito's nets began to yield a sustainable and harmonious abundance, reflecting a new kind of balanced wisdom, we too are invited to cultivate such a discerning approach within our own lives. The fisherman's story reminds us that true richness and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming greed or stark scarcity, but from the balanced interplay of effort and acceptance, of skill and surrender. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to engage with the world with both purpose and peace. With the gentle rocking of Kaito's boat still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of creative endeavor as we observe the patient craft of a ceramist, whose work with clay will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true adaptability and enduring beauty are found in the discerning balance between firmness and flexibility, the potter and the molded clay. Let us now allow our awareness to gently settle upon a different kind of creative space. A rustic atelier nestled amidst rolling vineyards, where the scent of damp earth and wood smoke mingles with the subtle aroma of freshly turned soil. Here, in this quiet sanctuary, we encounter Anya, a ceramist whose hands possess an almost intuitive understanding of the earth's raw materials. Her fingers, strong yet sensitive, have shaped countless vessels, each bearing the unique imprint of her patient artistry. Anya is not merely a craftswoman, she is a silent interpreter of nature's wisdom, and her journey with the humble clay is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true adaptability and enduring beauty emerge from a delicate balance between firmness and flexibility, between yielding and holding, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Anya's studio is a haven of earthy textures and quiet concentration. The soft, rhythmic whir of her potter's wheel is a constant, meditative drone, punctuated by the gentle squelch of clay being worked. Light filters through a high window, illuminating particles of dust dancing in the air and highlighting the subtle sheen on her creations. She works with an effortless grace, her gaze steady, her movements precise. She observes the clay, its inherent qualities, its subtle resistance, understanding that it holds its own wisdom. Her art is a continuous conversation between her will and the material's nature, a seamless integration of mind and matter. Yet the clay, in its raw form, often presents a profound challenge, mirroring the extremes that can hinder our own growth and development. inviting a deep sense of groundedness and embodiment. Anya noticed a recurring pattern in the behavior of the clay, a direct reflection of the very extremes the middle way seeks to transcend. When the clay was excessively wet, oversaturated with water, it would become impossibly pliable, collapsing under its own weight on the wheel, unable to hold any form. Her attempts to shape it would only result in a muddy, formless mess, a clear metaphor for indulgence in fluidity, a lack of structure or boundaries, leading to a loss of purpose. Conversely, when the clay was too dry, hardened by exposure to air, it would become brittle and resistant. Her efforts to mold it would only cause it to crack and crumble, refusing to yield to her touch, a clear parallel to the privation of flexibility, a rigid adherence to fixed forms, leading to an inability to adapt or change. This struggle to correctly work the clay is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the complexities of life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we are excessively yielding, lacking boundaries or a firm sense of self, we risk becoming formless and easily overwhelmed, unable to hold our shape under the pressures of the world, much like the overly wet clay. This indulgence in fluidity, often driven by a desire to please or to avoid conflict, can lead to a loss of personal integrity and a feeling of being constantly pulled in different directions. Conversely, when we are too rigid, clinging stubbornly to our beliefs or ways of doing things, we become brittle and resistant to change, cracking under pressure, like the dry, unyielding clay. This privation of flexibility, born from fear or a need for control, prevents us from truly growing and adapting, leaving us isolated and unable to embrace life's inevitable transformations. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true adaptability and enduring strength arise from a balanced application of firmness and flexibility. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, there are two kinds of diseases, physical and mental. Physical diseases are easier to cure than mental diseases. The mental disease of clinging to extremes, whether of indulgence or privation, prevents us from finding our true center. The wisdom of the middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the ever-changing nature of existence, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with challenges without becoming entangled in the extremes of over-yielding or rigid resistance. It is about finding that optimal point of malleability, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both grounded and fluid. One quiet morning, as Anya sat before her wheel, a lump of clay perfectly centered, she felt its subtle give and resistance. It was neither too soft nor too hard, but held a perfect, responsive tension, almost as if it breathed with her. She remembered the countless hours she had spent, not just pushing and pulling, but observing, listening to the clay, feeling its subtle shifts, knowing precisely when to apply gentle pressure, when to allow it to expand, and when to guide it with a firm hand. It was a dance, a conversation between her will and the clay's inherent nature. She realized that true mastery was not about imposing her will, but about collaborating with the material, respecting its properties, and guiding it with a gentle yet firm hand, a seamless integration of presence and action, leading to an ontological shift in her creative process. From that day forward, Anya approached her pottery with a renewed emphasis on this subtle balance. She encouraged her apprentices not just to observe the clay's texture, but to feel its inner life, to sense its readiness to be shaped. She taught them patience, the wisdom of waiting for the right moment, and the courage to apply just the right amount of pressure, neither overwhelming the clay nor neglecting its potential. She guided them to understand that the beauty and durability of the finished vessel depended entirely on this delicate equilibrium, this continuous adjustment between firmness and flexibility, between holding and releasing, shaping and allowing. It was an embodiment of the middle way, a profound stillness that emerged from mindful engagement, allowing for a deep resonance with the material. Anya's studio, with its interplay of hands and clay, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for connection or acceptance, become overly pliable, losing our own shape and integrity in an attempt to conform? Or conversely, how often do we, in our fear of vulnerability or change, become rigidly resistant, unwilling to adapt or compromise, leading to isolation? The middle way invites us to become master potters of our own existence, learning to apply the right amount of firmness and flexibility to our experiences. It encourages us to cultivate resilience, not through unyielding rigidity, but through a flexible strength born of balanced engagement, allowing us to adapt without losing our core self, to yield without collapsing, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and inner peace. The eminent Zen master, Shunryu Suzuki, often spoke of the mind like a clear mirror, which reflects everything without holding on to anything. Anya's realization that she needed to collaborate with the clay, allowing it to reveal its inherent form rather than forcing a shape, perfectly aligns with this profound insight. It is a radical acceptance of the inherent nature of things, combined with skillful, mindful action. This path of non-striving, of finding the precise measure between firmness and fluidity, allows us to shape our lives with wisdom and grace, creating a profound stillness that resonates with the natural flow of existence rather than struggling against its currents, leading to a groundedness that supports all endeavors. As Anya's apprentices began to mold their clay with a newfound understanding of balance, creating vessels that were both strong and beautifully formed, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The ceramist's story reminds us that true adaptability and enduring beauty emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming pliability or rigid resistance, but from the harmonious interplay of firmness and flexibility, of yielding and holding, of structure and flow. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect rhythm that allows us to shape our experiences with intentionality and grace. Now, with the gentle hum of the potter's wheel still softly resonating in our minds, let us turn our attention to a different kind of quietude as we observe the profound journey of a monk seeking enlightenment within the silent depths of a forest, whose quest will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true peace is found in the discerning balance between silence and engagement. The monk and the forest's silence. Let us now allow our awareness to gently drift towards a place of profound quietude and ancient wisdom. A dense, old-growth forest where towering trees reach towards the heavens, their canopy filtering the sunlight into dappled patterns on the moss-covered earth. Here, amidst the deep green silence and the subtle rustle of leaves, we encounter Jin, a monk whose entire being is dedicated to the pursuit of enlightenment, a deep and abiding understanding of the nature of reality. Jin is not merely a seeker, he is a living embodiment of contemplative practice, his spirit attuned to the subtle whispers of existence, and his journey within the forest's embrace is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true peace emerges from a delicate balance between inner silence and mindful engagement with the world, fostering a deep sense of presence and equanimity. Jin's chosen sanctuary is a realm of sensory richness, yet paradoxically, it is defined by its profound stillness. The air is cool and moist, carrying the earthy scent of decaying leaves and rich soil. The only sounds are the distant call of a cuckoo, the gentle murmur of a hidden stream, and the soft sigh of the wind through the ancient branches. Jin spends his days in meditation, walking, and quiet reflection, seeking to merge his consciousness with the vast, interconnected web of life around him. Yet, even in this seemingly ideal environment for contemplation, Jin finds himself subtly grappling with the very extremes that can hinder spiritual progress. He observes how some seekers retreat into absolute, unyielding silence, isolating themselves from all external stimuli, believing that only in total sensory deprivation can true peace be found, a metaphor for radical privation. Others, perhaps restless, constantly seek out new sounds, new experiences, new forms of engagement, forever distracted from the quiet depth within, reflecting an indulgence in external stimuli. Jin, in his earlier years of monastic life, had also oscillated between these two powerful poles in his pursuit of profound stillness. He remembered periods of intense, almost rigid silence, where he would sit for days, trying to shut out every external sound, every internal thought, believing that only in such a barren mental landscape could enlightenment blossom. Yet this extreme suppression often led to an agitated mind, a heightened awareness of the very sounds he tried to avoid, and a deep sense of isolation, a clear case of privation leading to greater suffering. Conversely, there were times when he would actively seek out the sounds of the forest, allowing his mind to wander with the birdsong, to follow the rustle of animals, indulging in the sensory richness around him. While beautiful, this often led to a diffused awareness, a lack of deep concentration, and a constant pull away from the profound stillness he sought within, an indulgence in external distraction. This struggle faced by Jin in finding the optimal balance between inner quietude and mindful engagement with his surroundings is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to cultivate peace and clarity in a world often defined by noise and distraction. When we attempt to impose an absolute silence, rigidly suppressing our thoughts and emotions, or isolating ourselves from the world, we risk creating internal resistance and a profound sense of disconnection, much like Jin's agitated mind in extreme silence. This radical privation, often fueled by an aversion to discomfort, can lead to a stifling of our natural human experience and a rejection of our own embodiment. Conversely, when we allow ourselves to be constantly pulled by external stimuli, indulging in an endless stream of information, entertainment, or social interaction, we risk losing our inner compass, our sense of groundedness, and our capacity for deep reflection, much like Jin's diffused awareness. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true peace and liberation arise not from the absence of sound or the relentless pursuit of it, but from the cultivation of an inner quietude that can exist amidst any external condition. As the revered Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, the mind can be a beautiful servant or a dangerous master. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the world as it is, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with life's sounds and silences without becoming entangled in the extremes of aversion or attachment. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful awareness, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both present and profoundly still, regardless of the outer environment. One morning, as Jin sat in meditation, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves above him, creating a soft, whispering sound. He noticed that instead of trying to block it out, or to cling to its beauty, he simply allowed the sound to be, observing it without judgment. He realized that true silence was not the absence of sound, but the absence of internal resistance to sound. It was an inner spaciousness that could embrace all phenomena, allowing them to arise and pass without disturbing the profound stillness of his core being. This was not a compromise, but a revelation of integrity, a seamless integration of presence and acceptance, an ontological shift in his perception of reality, a visceral awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. From that day forward, Jin's approach to meditation and his daily life underwent a subtle but powerful transformation. He no longer strove for absolute silence or sought out constant external stimulation. Instead, he practiced mindful listening, allowing the sounds of the forest, and indeed the sounds of his own thoughts, to arise and pass without attachment or aversion. His presence became imbued with a new kind of depth and resonance, quiet yet fully engaged. He found that by cultivating this inner spaciousness, he could experience profound stillness, even amidst the occasional chirping of a bird or the distant rumble of thunder. He was no longer trying to force silence, but allowing it to emerge naturally from a balanced engagement with life, embodying the middle way in every breath and every moment. Jin's journey within the forest offers a powerful metaphor for how we can cultivate profound stillness and peace in our own lives, especially in a world that often demands constant attention and stimulation. How often do we, in our desire for peace, try to shut out all external noise, only to find our inner world becoming even more agitated? And conversely, how often do we, out of restlessness or a fear of being alone with our thoughts, constantly seek external distractions, never allowing ourselves to settle into true quietude? The middle way invites us to become mindful observers of our own inner and outer soundscape, learning to embrace both the sounds and the silences with equanimity. It encourages us to cultivate a spaciousness that allows for both engagement and profound stillness, understanding that true peace lies in the balanced rhythm of life, fostering a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master, Alan Watts, often spoke of the importance of not trying to hold water in a sieve. 1. Jin's realization that true silence was not about holding on to an absence of sound, but allowing all sounds to pass through without clinging, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that genuine peace is not found in controlling our environment, but in cultivating an inner freedom that is untouched by external conditions. This radical acceptance of the natural flow of phenomena, combined with skillful, mindful attention, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless seeking or passive resignation. As Jin's presence in the forest became imbued with a new kind of balanced stillness, quiet yet fully engaged, we too are invited to cultivate such a harmonious approach within our own lives. The monk's story reminds us that true peace and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming noise or stark isolation, but from the balanced interplay of inner quietude and mindful engagement, of acceptance and presence. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium, that allows our inner wisdom to shine forth with both power and grace. With the gentle whispers of the forest still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of precision, as we observe the meticulous craft of a skilled seamstress, whose work with fabric will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true elegance and perfect fit are found in the discerning balance between generosity and exactitude. The seamstress and the cut fabric. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a different kind of creative space, a bustling yet harmonious sewing room in the heart of a vibrant city, where the hum of sewing machines provides a rhythmic backdrop to the gentle rustle of fabrics. Here, amidst bolts of colourful silks and linens, we encounter Clara, a seamstress of exceptional skill, whose nimble fingers transform simple cloth into garments of exquisite design and perfect fit. Clara is not merely a craftswoman, she is a silent artist. Her eye for detail and her understanding of form honed by years of dedication, and her journey with the delicate act of cutting fabric is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true elegance and impeccable function emerge from a delicate balance between generosity and exactitude, between allowance and precision, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Clara's sewing room is a symphony of textures and colors, a place where creativity and meticulousness intertwine. Sunlight streams through large windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air and highlighting the rich hues of various textiles. The rhythmic whir of her sewing machine, the snip of scissors, and the soft sigh of fabric being draped create a comforting, industrious atmosphere. She works with an effortless grace, her movements precise and economical, honed by years of practice. Yet even Clara, with all her experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in her craft, particularly in the crucial act of cutting fabric. She observes how some apprentices, in their eagerness, cut with excessive abandon, leaving too much seam allowance, leading to bulky, ill-fitting garments, a metaphor for overindulgence and wasted resources. Others, perhaps out of a misguided desire for efficiency, cut too close to the pattern, leaving insufficient margins, resulting in ruined pieces that cannot be salvaged, reflecting a privation of foresight and a fear of engagement with necessary allowances. Clara, in her early days as an apprentice, had also grappled with these extremes in her pursuit of perfection. She vividly remembered the frustration of her initial attempts, when she would cut fabric with an overly generous seam allowance, convinced that more material meant more room for error and thus a better outcome. However, this often led to garments that were clumsy and ill-fitting, the excess fabric creating unnecessary bulk and distorting the intended silhouette. It was a form of indulgence that paradoxically hindered the final product's elegance. Conversely, there were times when she, in a misguided attempt at precision or to conserve precious material, would cut too close to the pattern line, leaving absolutely no margin for adjustment. The slightest miscalculation, the smallest fray, would ruin the entire piece. A clear case of privation leading to irreversible damage. A fear of necessary allowance. This struggle to correctly cut fabric, finding the optimal balance between generosity and exactitude, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the demands of life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our endeavors with excessive generosity, perhaps overcommitting our time, resources, or emotional energy, we risk creating burdens and inefficiencies, much like Clara's overly generous seam allowances. This indulgence, often driven by a desire to please or an inability to set boundaries, can lead to exhaustion and a loss of our own integrity. Conversely, when we approach situations with extreme exactitude, leaving no room for error, no space for flexibility, or no allowance for the unexpected, we risk breaking under pressure or ruining our efforts with the slightest deviation, like Clara's too tight cuts. This privation of allowance, born from fear of imperfection or a need for rigid control, prevents us from truly adapting and thriving, leaving us vulnerable and unable to embrace life's inevitable imperfections. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true elegance and lasting function arise from a balanced application of discernment and allowance. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, there is no path that leads to liberation except the Eightfold Path, which itself is a middle way, guiding us between extremes. The wisdom of the middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the inherent imperfections of life, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with challenges without becoming entangled in the extremes of overgiving or rigid withholding. It is about finding that optimal point of measured allowance, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both generous and precise, knowing when to hold and when to release. One quiet afternoon, as a particularly challenging garment lay before her, Clara paused, her scissors poised above a delicate silk. She remembered the wise words of her grandmother, also a seamstress, who had once told her, "Cut with enough, but not too much. Leave room for the spirit of the cloth to breathe, but not so much that it loses its form." This ancient wisdom, like a gentle hand guiding hers, settled deeply within her. She realized that the perfect cut was not about absolute precision or boundless generosity, but about finding the harmonious measure that honored both the material and the design. It was a dance between her skillful hand and the fabric's inherent nature, a seamless integration of presence and foresight, an ontological shift in her creative process, leading to a visceral awareness of the material's needs. From that day forward, Clara approached her cutting with a heightened sense of presence and discernment. She learned to feel the subtle tension in the fabric, to understand its drape and its give, knowing instinctively how much allowance it needed. Her cuts became imbued with a new kind of vitality, precise, strong, yet possessing a delicate flexibility. Each piece she prepared was a testament to balance, allowing the garment to take shape with an undeniable elegance, neither bulky nor constrained. Her art became a seamless integration of her inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of careful consideration, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who wore her creations. She was no longer trying to force the fabric, but allowing its inherent beauty to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every snip and every stitch. Clara's sewing room, with its interplay of fabric and scissors, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for connection or success, overextend ourselves, giving too much of our time and energy, only to find ourselves depleted and resentful? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or a need for self-preservation, become overly rigid, unwilling to make any allowances, leading to isolation and missed opportunities? The middle way invites us to become master seamstresses of our own existence, learning to cut our cloth with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between generosity and exactitude, allowing us to engage with the world fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of overcommitment or the rigidity of scarcity, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The eminent Zen master, Alan Watts, often spoke of the importance of knowing when to stop. Clara's realization that she needed to find the optimal measure, neither too much nor too little, perfectly aligns with this profound insight. It is about understanding that true elegance is not found in endless additions or ruthless subtractions, but in the harmonious balance of what is essential. This practice of non-striving, of finding the precise measure, allows us to create a life that resonates with a deeper truth, radiating a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless striving or passive resignation. It is a radical acceptance of the beauty in equilibrium, a seamless integration of heart and hand. As Clara's garments began to fit with a new kind of balanced elegance, both comfortable and beautifully formed, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The seamstress's story reminds us that true elegance and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming generosity or stark exactitude, but from the balanced interplay of allowance and precision, of giving and holding. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to shape our experiences with intentionality and grace. With the gentle rustle of Clara's fabric still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of delicate balance, as we observe the patient craft of an old beekeeper, whose work with the sweet honey will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true abundance and sustainable nourishment are found in the discerning balance between taking and preserving. The beekeeper and the sweet honey. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a sun-drenched apiary, nestled in a vibrant meadow filled with wildflowers, where the gentle hum of thousands of bees creates a ceaseless, soothing symphony. Here, amidst the buzzing hives and the sweet scent of nectar, we encounter Matteo, an elderly beekeeper whose wrinkled hands and calm demeanor speak of a profound respect for the natural world. Matteo is not merely a caretaker of bees. He is a silent guardian of nature's delicate balance, his wisdom honed by years of observing the intricate dance between colony and environment. And his practice of harvesting honey is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true abundance and sustainable nourishment emerge from a delicate balance between taking and preserving, between receiving and giving back, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Matteo's apiary is a haven of life and quiet industry, a seamless integration of human care and natural instinct. The air is warm and fragrant, thick with the aroma of blooming clover and the rich sweetness of honey. The constant, gentle hum of the bees, a living current of energy, fills the space, a profound stillness within the activity. He works with an effortless grace, his movements slow and deliberate, honed by years of practice. He observes his bees with an acute, visceral awareness, understanding their rhythms, their needs, their delicate ecosystem. Yet even Matteo, with all his experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in his craft, particularly in the crucial act of harvesting honey. He observes how some younger beekeepers, in their eagerness for profit, take too much honey, leaving the colony vulnerable and unable to survive the winter, a metaphor for overindulgence and unsustainable consumption. Others, perhaps out of an excessive fear of disturbing the bees, take too little, allowing the hives to become stagnant and unproductive, reflecting a privation of engagement and a missed opportunity for symbiotic flourishing. Matteo, in his earlier years as a beekeeper, had also grappled with these extremes in his pursuit of a bountiful harvest. He vividly remembered the painful lessons when he would, in his youthful ambition, take an excessive amount of honey, convinced that more yield meant greater success. However, this often led to weak colonies that struggled to survive or even collapsed, forcing him to start anew with great loss. It was a form of indulgence that paradoxically destroyed the source of abundance itself. Conversely, there were times when he, out of an overly cautious fear of harming the bees, would take too little honey, allowing the hives to become overcrowded and less productive. The bees would swarm more frequently, and the apiary would not thrive, a clear case of privation leading to stagnation, a fear of necessary interaction. This struggle to correctly harvest honey, finding the optimal balance between taking and preserving, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the resources of our lives, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our endeavors with excessive greed or an overwhelming desire for immediate gratification, consuming too much, taking without replenishing, we risk depleting our own resources, much like Matteo's overharvested colonies. This indulgence, often driven by a sense of scarcity or a lack of foresight, can lead to burnout, exhaustion, and a loss of our own vitality. Conversely, when we approach situations with extreme caution, holding back, refusing to engage with opportunities for growth or to take what is necessary for our well-being, we risk stagnation and missed potential, like Matteo's under-harvested hives. This privation of engagement, born from fear or a lack of self-worth, prevents us from truly flourishing and contributing to the wider world. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true abundance and sustainable well-being arise from a balanced application of discernment and generosity, of taking what is needed and leaving enough for others, including the future. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything, what we think we become. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of cultivating a mind that understands interdependence, one that avoids the extremes of grasping and withholding. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the interconnectedness of all life, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our resources without becoming entangled in the extremes of overconsumption or rigid self-denial. It is about finding that optimal point of sustainable interaction, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both nourished and nurturing. One quiet morning, as Matteo approached a hive, its gentle hum a soothing vibration in the air, he recalled the words of his own grandfather, also a beekeeper, who had often said, "The bees will give you what you need if you give them what they need. Never take all, and always leave some for winter." This ancient wisdom, like the gentle warmth of the sun on his face, settled deeply within him. He realized that the perfect harvest was not about maximizing yield, but about ensuring the long-term health and vitality of the colony. It was a balance between his needs and the bees' needs, a seamless integration of presence and ecological awareness, an ontological shift in his perception of abundance, leading to a visceral awareness of the symbiotic relationship. From that day forward, Matteo approached his honey harvesting with a heightened sense of presence and respect. He learned to read the subtle cues of the hive, understanding its strength and its needs, knowing instinctively how much honey could be taken without jeopardizing the colony's survival. His actions became imbued with a new kind of vitality, efficient, sustainable, yet possessing a deep sense of gratitude. Each jar of honey he collected was a testament to balance, a sweet reminder of the harmonious relationship between human and nature, neither exploiting nor neglecting. His craft became a seamless integration of his inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful stewardship, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who tasted his golden liquid. He was no longer trying to force abundance, but allowing it to emerge naturally from a balanced engagement with life, embodying the middle way in every visit to the apiary. Matteo's apiary, with its interplay of bees and honey, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for success or happiness, consume resources, energy, or even relationships without replenishing them, only to find ourselves depleted and our sources of nourishment diminished? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or a sense of unworthiness, fail to take what we need, allowing opportunities for growth and well-being to pass us by? The middle way invites us to become mindful beekeepers of our own existence, learning to harvest our experiences with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between taking and preserving, allowing us to engage with the world fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of overconsumption or the rigidity of scarcity, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered spiritual teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, often spoke of interbeing, the deep interconnectedness of all phenomena. Matteo's realization that his well-being was inextricably linked to the well-being of his bees perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that true abundance is not a solitary pursuit, but a symbiotic relationship with the world around us. This radical acceptance of interdependence, combined with skillful, mindful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless grasping or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of self and other, a beautiful dance of giving and receiving. As Matteo's apiary continued to thrive, yielding its sweet bounty with a new kind of balanced wisdom, we too are invited to cultivate such a discerning approach within our own lives. The beekeeper's story reminds us that true abundance and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming greed or stark scarcity, but from the balanced interplay of taking and preserving, of receiving and giving back. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium, that allows us to engage with the world with both purpose and peace. With the gentle hum of the bees still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of shaping, as we observe the patient craft of a stone sculptor, whose work with raw rock will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true self-discovery and enduring form are found in the discerning balance between removal and revelation, the sculptor and the raw stone. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a rugged, secluded quarry nestled deep within a valley, where the air is crisp and carries the mineral scent of ancient stone, and the rhythmic tap-tap-tap of a chisel provides a solitary, meditative sound. Here, amidst the monumental blocks of granite and marble, we encounter Hiroshi, a stone sculptor whose discerning eye sees not merely rock, but the hidden forms waiting to be liberated within. His hands, strong and calloused, move with a practiced grace that belies the immense effort required for his art. Hiroshi is not merely a craftsman, he is a silent philosopher, his wisdom carved from the heart of the earth, and his journey with the raw stone is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true self-discovery and enduring form emerge from a delicate balance between removal and revelation, between letting go and bringing forth, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Hiroshi's quarry workshop is a symphony of raw elements and focused concentration, a seamless integration of human will and geological time. The sun beats down on the pale stone, causing it to shimmer, while the shade of an overhang offers cool respite. The metallic ring of his hammer against the chisel, the gritty feel of stone dust on his skin, and the subtle scent of freshly fractured rock are all part of his world. He works with an effortless grace, his gaze steady, his movements precise and economical, honed by years of patient observation. Yet even Hiroshi, with all his experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in his craft, particularly in the crucial act of carving. He observes how some apprentices, in their eagerness, remove too much stone, destroying the intended form, leaving behind a hollow or a broken piece, a metaphor for overindulgence in subtraction and the burden of irreversible loss. Others, perhaps out of caution or a lack of vision, remove too little, leaving the sculpture trapped within the raw rock, its potential unrealized, reflecting a privation of engagement and a fear of revealing the true form. Hiroshi, in his earlier years as a sculptor, had also grappled with these extremes in his pursuit of artistic perfection. He vividly remembered the painful lessons, when he would, in his youthful impatience, remove an excessive amount of stone, convinced that more aggressive chipping would quickly reveal the hidden form. However, this often led to irreparable damage, the intended shape lost forever, forcing him to abandon the piece. It was a form of indulgence in force that paradoxically destroyed the very beauty he sought to create. Conversely, there were times when he, out of an overly cautious fear of making a mistake, would remove too little stone, leaving the sculpture trapped within its raw state, its essence obscured, barely discernible to anyone but himself. The piece would remain unfinished, its potential unfulfilled, a clear case of privation leading to stagnation, a fear of necessary revelation. This struggle to correctly sculpt the stone, finding the optimal balance between removal and revelation, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts at self-discovery and personal growth, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our inner work with excessive zeal, attempting to strip away every perceived flaw or imperfection, we risk destroying our inherent wholeness, leaving us feeling hollow or broken, much like Hiroshi's overcarved pieces. This indulgence in self-criticism or relentless self-improvement, often driven by a need for perfection or a fear of inadequacy, can lead to exhaustion and a loss of our authentic self. Conversely, when we approach our inner landscape with a lack of engagement, refusing to examine our patterns or release what no longer serves us, we remain trapped within our raw, unrefined state, our true potential hidden, like Hiroshi's unrevealed sculptures. This privation of self-exploration, born from fear or complacency, prevents us from truly growing and shining. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true self-discovery and enduring transformation arise from a balanced application of discernment and release. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of being present with our inner landscape, knowing when to let go of old patterns and when to nurture our emerging truths. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of our inherent worthiness, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our inner challenges without becoming entangled in the extremes of ruthless self-critique or passive self-neglect. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful transformation, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both refined and fundamentally whole. One quiet afternoon, as Hiroshi sat before a half-finished sculpture, its form slowly emerging from the rough stone, he felt the subtle tension between what was there and what was yet to be revealed. He remembered the words of an ancient master who had said, "The best sculpture is not made by adding, but by taking away what is not essential." This profound insight, like a chisel gently tapping his heart, settled deeply within him. He realized that the true art was not in forcing a shape, but in allowing the inherent form within the stone to emerge, guided by his skilled hand. It was a dance between his intention and the stone's nature, a seamless integration of presence and intuition, an ontological shift in his perception of creation, leading to a visceral awareness of the stone's hidden potential. From that day forward, Hiroshi approached his sculpting with a heightened sense of presence and respect. He learned to listen to the subtle whispers of the stone, to feel its resistance and its willingness to yield, knowing instinctively when to strike and when to pause. His chisel strokes became imbued with a new kind of vitality, precise, strong, yet possessing a delicate sensitivity. Each sculpture he created was a testament to balance, its form emerging with an undeniable grace, neither overworked nor unfinished. His art became a seamless integration of his inner vision and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful revelation, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who beheld his work. He was no longer trying to force the stone, but allowing its inherent beauty to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every chip and every polish. Hiroshi's quarry, with its interplay of hammer and stone, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for self-improvement, ruthlessly criticize ourselves, attempting to chip away every perceived flaw, only to find ourselves feeling depleted and incomplete? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or complacency, avoid self-reflection, leaving our true potential hidden beneath layers of unexamined patterns? The middle way invites us to become mindful sculptors of our own being, learning to remove what no longer serves us with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between releasing and revealing, allowing us to engage with our inner landscape fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of relentless self-criticism or the rigidity of stagnation, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master, Shunryu Suzuki, often spoke of original face, the true self before any conditioning. Hiroshi's realization that the sculpture was already present within the stone, waiting to be revealed, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that true self-discovery is not about creating something new, but about uncovering what is already inherently there. This radical acceptance of our own innate perfection, combined with skillful, mindful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless striving or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of self-acceptance and self-refinement, a beautiful dance of becoming. As Hiroshi's sculptures began to emerge with a new kind of balanced beauty, both strong and gracefully formed, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The sculptor's story reminds us that true self-discovery and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming self-criticism or stark self-neglect, but from the balanced interplay of removal and revelation, of letting go and bringing forth. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to shape our experiences with intentionality and grace. With the rhythmic tap of Hiroshi's chisel still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of delicate balance as we observe the patient craft of a seasoned cook, whose work with flavors will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true satisfaction and exquisite taste are found in the discerning balance between boldness and subtlety. The cook and the right seasoning. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a vibrant, bustling kitchen in a small, cozy restaurant by the sea, where the air is thick with the tantalizing aromas of fresh herbs, simmering broths, and sizzling spices. Here, amidst the cheerful clatter of pots and pans, we encounter Anya, a cook whose culinary creations are renowned for their exquisite balance of flavors and their ability to delight the palate. Her hands, nimble and experienced, move with a practiced fluidity that transforms simple ingredients into memorable dishes. Anya is not merely a cook, she is a silent alchemist of taste. Her understanding of flavor profiles honed by years of dedication, and her journey with the crucial act of seasoning is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true satisfaction and culinary artistry emerge from a delicate balance between boldness and subtlety, between indulgence and restraint, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Anya's kitchen is a symphony of sensory richness, a place where vibrant colors and enticing aromas converge. The rhythmic bubbling of sauces, the sharp sizzle of ingredients hitting a hot pan, and the cheerful chatter of her kitchen staff create a lively yet harmonious atmosphere. She works with an effortless grace, her gaze steady, her movements precise and economical, honed by years of practice. Yet, even Anya, with all her experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in her craft, particularly in the crucial act of seasoning. She observes how some younger cooks, in their eagerness, add too much salt or too many spices, overwhelming the natural flavors of the ingredients, resulting in dishes that are harsh and unbalanced, a metaphor for overindulgence and sensory overload. Others, perhaps out of caution or a lack of confidence, add too little seasoning, leaving the dishes bland and uninspired, reflecting a privation of flavor and a fear of full engagement. Anya, in her earlier years as a cook, had also grappled with these extremes in her pursuit of culinary perfection. She vividly remembered the painful lessons when she would, in her youthful enthusiasm, add an excessive amount of a particular spice or herb, convinced that more flavor meant a more exciting dish. However, this often led to dishes that were overpowering, the delicate nuances of the main ingredients completely lost, leaving the diners feeling overwhelmed rather than delighted. It was a form of indulgence that paradoxically destroyed the very taste she sought to enhance. Conversely, there were times when she, out of an overly cautious fear of making a mistake or offending a sensitive palate, would add too little seasoning. The dishes would be technically correct, but utterly bland, failing to evoke any real pleasure or interest, a clear case of privation leading to uninspired outcomes, a fear of necessary boldness. This struggle to correctly season a dish, finding the optimal balance between boldness and subtlety, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the experiences of life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our lives with excessive intensity, seeking constant thrills or overwhelming ourselves with too many activities, we risk becoming desensitized and losing appreciation for the subtle joys, much like Anya's over-seasoned dishes. This indulgence in constant stimulation, often driven by a need for excitement or a fear of boredom, can lead to exhaustion and a loss of our inner peace. Conversely, when we approach life with a lack of engagement, holding back from new experiences, or failing to add our unique flavor to the world, we risk living a bland and uninspired existence, like Anya's under-seasoned dishes. This privation of experience, born from fear or apathy, prevents us from truly savoring the richness of life and realizing our full potential. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true satisfaction and exquisite experience arise from a balanced application of discernment and appreciation. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, there is no true happiness without true understanding. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of understanding the subtle interplay of various elements in our lives, knowing when to add, when to hold back, and when to simply allow. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the inherent complexity of life, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our experiences without becoming entangled in the extremes of overwhelming sensation or rigid avoidance. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful engagement, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to both savor and appreciate. One bustling evening, as Anya prepared a signature seafood stew, she paused, a pinch of saffron poised between her fingers. She remembered the words of her own grandmother, a legendary cook who had once told her, "The perfect dish is like a whispered secret, enough to intrigue, but never to shout. The taste should unfold, not explode." This ancient wisdom, like the subtle aroma of the saffron, settled deeply within her. She realized that the true art was not in adding the most ingredients or the strongest flavors, but in allowing each element to contribute harmoniously, creating a symphony of taste. It was a dance between her skillful hand and the ingredient's inherent nature, a seamless integration of presence and intuition, an ontological shift in her perception of cooking, leading to a visceral awareness of flavor's delicate balance. From that day forward, Anya approached her seasoning with a heightened sense of presence and respect. She learned to taste with her entire being, sensing the subtle nuances of each ingredient, understanding how it would interact with others, knowing instinctively how much seasoning was needed to elevate, not overpower. Her hands became imbued with a new kind of vitality, precise, confident, yet possessing a delicate sensitivity. Each dish she created was a testament to balance, its flavors unfolding with an undeniable harmony, neither bland nor overwhelming. Her culinary art became a seamless integration of her inner vision and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful preparation, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who savored her creations. She was no longer trying to force flavors, but allowing their inherent beauty to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every stir and every pinch. Anya's kitchen, with its interplay of ingredients and spices, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for a full and exciting life, overwhelm ourselves with too many activities, too many commitments, too many sensory inputs, only to find ourselves exhausted and desensitized? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or complacency, hold back from new experiences, failing to add our unique flavor to the world, leading to a bland and uninspired existence? The middle way invites us to become mindful cooks of our own being, learning to season our lives with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between boldness and subtlety, allowing us to engage with the world fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of overindulgence or the rigidity of scarcity, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered spiritual teacher, Pema Chodron, often spoke of leaning into the sharp points of life with gentleness and curiosity. Anya's realization that she needed to find the optimal measure, allowing flavors to unfold rather than forcing them, perfectly aligns with this profound insight. It is about understanding that true satisfaction is not found in overwhelming sensation, but in the harmonious balance of all elements, even the most subtle. This practice of non-striving, of finding the precise consistency, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless seeking or passive resignation. It is a radical acceptance of the beauty in equilibrium, a seamless integration of heart and palate. As Anya's dishes began to delight with a new kind of balanced taste, both bold and subtle, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The cook's story reminds us that true satisfaction and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming sensation or stark blandness, but from the balanced interplay of boldness and subtlety, of indulgence and restraint. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to savor our experiences with intentionality and grace. With the tantalizing aromas of Anya's kitchen still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of precision as we observe the focused practice of a master archer whose work with arrow and bow will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true aim and effortless power are found in the discerning balance between tension and release. The archer and the perfect arrow. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a serene training ground, nestled at the edge of an ancient bamboo forest. where the air is still and carries the subtle scent of damp earth and green leaves. Here, amidst the quiet rustle of the bamboo and the focused silence, we encounter Kenji, a master archer whose every movement embodies a profound discipline and an almost spiritual connection to his craft. His bow, crafted from polished wood, feels like an extension of his own being, and his arrow, tipped with a gleaming point, seems to hum with latent energy. Kenji is not merely an archer, he is a silent philosopher of precision, his wisdom honed by years of practice, and his journey with the bow and arrow is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true aim and effortless power emerge from a delicate balance between tension and release, between effort and surrender, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Kenji's training ground is a sanctuary of focused concentration, a seamless integration of physical prowess and mental clarity. The distant chirping of cicadas, the gentle sigh of the wind through the bamboo, and the rhythmic thud of arrows hitting the target are the only sounds that break the profound stillness. He works with an effortless grace, his gaze steady, his movements precise and economical, honed by years of patient observation. Yet, even Kenji, with all his experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in his craft, particularly in the crucial act of releasing an arrow. He observes how some younger archers, in their eagerness, pull back the bowstring with excessive force, their muscles rigid, their bodies trembling with strain. The arrow, when released, often flies wildly off target, its trajectory erratic and uncontrolled, a metaphor for overstriving and the burden of excessive effort. Others, perhaps out of caution or a lack of confidence, pull back with insufficient strength, their release weak and hesitant. The arrow, when loosed, falls short of the target, its flight lacking power and conviction, reflecting a privation of engagement and a fear of full commitment. Kenji, in his earlier years as an archer, had also grappled with these extremes in his pursuit of perfect aim. He vividly remembered the painful lessons. When he would, in his youthful ambition, draw the bowstring with an excessive, almost violent tension, convinced that more power meant greater accuracy. However, this often led to a loss of control, his body tensing up, his aim wavering, and the arrow striking far from its mark. It was a form of indulgence in brute force that paradoxically destroyed the very precision he sought. Conversely, there were times when he, out of an overly cautious fear of overshooting or straining himself, would draw the bowstring with insufficient strength, his release hesitant and weak. The arrow would fall limp, barely reaching the target, a clear case of privation leading to unfulfilled potential, a fear of necessary commitment. This struggle to correctly draw and release the bowstring, finding the optimal balance between tension and release, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to achieve our goals in life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our endeavors with excessive force, pushing ourselves relentlessly, striving for outcomes with overwhelming intensity, we risk burning out, losing our clarity, and missing our true mark, much like Kenji's overstrained arrows. This overstriving, often driven by anxiety or a need for external validation, can lead to exhaustion and a loss of our inner peace. Conversely, when we approach life with a lack of commitment, holding back our effort, or failing to engage with sufficient intention, we fall short of our potential, our goals remaining elusive like Kenji's underpowered arrows. This privation of engagement, born from fear or apathy, prevents us from truly manifesting our aspirations and realizing our full embodiment. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true achievement and effortless power arise from a balanced application of effort and letting go. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, "Your work is to discover your work, and then with all your heart, to give yourself to it. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of intentionality, of knowing when to apply effort and when to surrender to the natural flow of things. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the process, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our goals without becoming entangled in the extremes of overwhelming force or passive resignation. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful action, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both focused and fluid. One quiet morning, as Kenji stood before the target, his bow raised, he felt the subtle tension in the string, the gentle weight of the arrow, and the steady rhythm of his own breath. He remembered the words of his master, who had once told him, "The arrow flies not by your will, but by its own. Your task is to prepare it, to guide it, and then to release it with no mind." This profound insight, like the whisper of the wind, settled deeply within him. He realized that the perfect shot was not about brute force or rigid control, but about finding the precise moment of balance, where his intention merged with the inherent potential of the arrow. It was a dance between his skillful hand and the arrow's destiny, a seamless integration of presence and surrender, an ontological shift in his perception of his craft, leading to a visceral awareness of effortless power. From that day forward, Kenji approached his archery with a heightened sense of presence and respect. He learned to feel the subtle tension in his body, to understand the nuanced strength required for each shot, knowing instinctively when to draw and when to release. His movements became imbued with a new kind of vitality, precise, powerful, yet possessing a delicate fluidity. Each arrow he loosed flew with an undeniable grace, striking the target with quiet authority, neither overshooting nor falling short. His archery became a seamless integration of his inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful practice, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who witnessed his shots. He was no longer trying to force the arrow, but allowing its inherent trajectory to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every draw and every release. Kenji's training ground, with its interplay of bow and arrow, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our pursuit of our aspirations, push ourselves to the brink of exhaustion, striving relentlessly for results, only to find ourselves missing the mark or burning out? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or a lack of confidence, hold back our efforts, failing to commit fully, and thus never truly reaching our potential? The middle way invites us to become mindful archers of our own being, learning to draw our bow with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between tension and release, allowing us to engage with our goals fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of overstriving or the rigidity of inaction, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master, Yugen Herigal, in his book, Zen in the Art of Archery, spoke of the importance of letting it happen rather than making it happen. Kenji's realization that the arrow flew by its own will, once properly prepared and released, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that true power is not found in forceful control, but in the harmonious balance of preparation, intention, and surrender. This radical acceptance of the natural flow, combined with skillful mindful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless grasping or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of effort and grace, a beautiful dance of becoming. As Kenji's arrows began to strike the target with a new kind of balanced power, both precise and effortless, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The archer's story reminds us that true aim and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming force or stark inaction, but from the balanced interplay of tension and release, of effort and surrender. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to pursue our aspirations with intentionality and grace. With the silent flight of Kenji's arrows still softly imprinting upon our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of observation, as we join a contemplator of the stars, whose gaze into the cosmos will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true understanding and vast perspective are found in the discerning balance between focus and spaciousness. The contemplator of the stars. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a serene hilltop observatory, far from the city lights, where the air is cool and clear, and the vast inky canvas of the night sky stretches endlessly above. Here, beneath a breathtaking tapestry of shimmering stars, we encounter Lyra, an amateur astronomer whose passion for the cosmos is as boundless as the universe itself. Her telescope, a gleaming instrument of precision, points silently towards distant galaxies, a conduit to unimaginable wonders. Lyra is not merely an observer, she is a silent philosopher of the cosmos, her mind attuned to the grand scale of existence, and her journey with the stars is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true understanding and vast perspective emerge from a delicate balance between focused attention and expansive spaciousness, between detail and totality, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Lyra's observatory is a sanctuary of profound stillness and intellectual curiosity, a seamless integration of scientific inquiry and spiritual wonder. The only sounds are the gentle whir of her telescope's motor, the soft rustle of the night breeze, and the rhythmic beat of her own appreciative heart. She works with an effortless grace, her gaze steady, her movements precise and economical, honed by years of patient observation. Yet, even Lyra, with all her experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in her craft, particularly in the crucial act of observation. She observes how some fellow astronomers, in their eagerness to categorize, focus too intently on a single star or galaxy, losing sight of the vastness of the universe, becoming engrossed in minute details at the expense of the grand perspective, a metaphor for overindulgence in analysis and the burden of narrow vision. Others, perhaps overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the cosmos, scatter their gaze, attempting to take in everything at once, seeing nothing clearly, reflecting a privation of focus and a fear of engagement with specific details. Lyra, in her earlier years as an astronomer, had also grappled with these extremes in her pursuit of cosmic understanding. She vividly remembered the frustration of her initial attempts. When she would, in her youthful enthusiasm, spend hours fixated on a single nebula, meticulously charting every gas cloud and star cluster, convinced that more detail meant greater knowledge. However, this often led to a loss of the bigger picture, her mind becoming so engrossed in the minutiae that she forgot the vast, interconnected web of the cosmos. It was a form of indulgence in detail that paradoxically obscured the very wonder she sought. Conversely, there were times when she, overwhelmed by the sheer number of stars, would simply sweep her telescope across the sky, attempting to absorb everything without focusing on anything specific. The result was a blur of light, no clear image, no profound insight, a clear case of privation leading to diffused awareness, a fear of necessary focus. This struggle to correctly observe the stars Finding the optimal balance between focused attention and expansive spaciousness is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to understand ourselves and the world, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our lives with excessive focus on a single aspect, becoming overly attached to specific outcomes, beliefs, or self-identities, we risk losing perspective, becoming narrow-minded, and failing to see the interconnectedness of all things, much like Lyra's over-focused observations. This indulgence in narrow vision, often driven by a need for control or certainty, can lead to rigidity and a loss of our inner peace. Conversely, when we approach life with a lack of focus, scattering our attention, allowing our minds to wander aimlessly, or failing to engage deeply with any particular experience, we remain superficial, never truly grasping the profound truths that lie beneath the surface, like Lyra's unfocused sweeps. This privation of attention, born from restlessness or a fear of commitment, prevents us from truly growing and gaining deep insight into our embodiment. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true understanding and vast perspective arise from a balanced application of discernment and spaciousness. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, "Look within, thou art the Buddha." This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of cultivating an inner clarity that can both focus intently and expand boundlessly. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the inherent complexity of existence, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our observations without becoming entangled in the extremes of narrow fixation or diffused awareness. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful perception, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both precise and profoundly expansive. One quiet night, as Lyra gazed through her telescope at a distant galaxy, its spiral arms unfurling like a cosmic flower, she felt a profound sense of awe. She remembered the words of a wise Zen teacher she had once read, who wrote, "The universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are." This profound insight, like a starlight illuminating her mind, settled deeply within her. She realized that true understanding was not about dissecting every detail, nor about passively observing the whole, but about finding the harmonious interplay between the two. It was a dance between her focused gaze and the boundless expanse, a seamless integration of presence and interconnectedness, an ontological shift in her perception of the cosmos, leading to a visceral awareness of her place within it. From that day forward, Lyra approached her stargazing with a heightened sense of presence and discernment. She learned to focus her telescope with precision, appreciating the intricate details of each celestial object, yet always holding in her mind the vast interconnected tapestry of the universe. Her observations became imbued with a new kind of vitality, sharp, insightful, yet possessing a delicate sense of wonder. Each celestial body she viewed was a testament to balance, its individual beauty shining within the context of the boundless cosmos, neither isolated nor lost in the grand scale. Her astronomy became a seamless integration of her inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful contemplation, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who shared her observations. She was no longer trying to force understanding, but allowing its inherent wisdom to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every focused gaze and every expansive thought. Lyra's observatory, with its interplay of telescope and stars, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our pursuit of knowledge or personal growth, become so fixated on specific details or outcomes that we lose sight of the bigger picture, the interconnectedness of our experiences. Or conversely, how often do we, out of overwhelm or a lack of clarity, scatter our attention, failing to engage deeply with any particular aspect of our lives, thus missing profound insights? The middle way invites us to become mindful contemplators of our own existence, learning to focus our attention with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between concentrated focus and expansive spaciousness, allowing us to engage with our experiences fully, yet with a perspective that frees us from the burden of narrow-mindedness or the rigidity of diffused awareness, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master, Alan Watts, often spoke of the universe as a cosmic dance, where everything is interconnected and in constant motion. Lyra's realization that true understanding came from embracing both the specific and the universal, the detail and the totality, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that genuine insight is not found in isolating phenomena, but in recognizing their place within the greater whole. This radical acceptance of the inherent unity of all things, combined with skillful, mindful attention, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless seeking or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of mind and cosmos, a beautiful dance of awareness. As Lyra's understanding of the stars deepened with a new kind of balanced wisdom, both precise and expansive, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning insight. The contemplator's story reminds us that true understanding and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming fixation or stark diffusion, but from the balanced interplay of focused attention and expansive spaciousness, of detail and totality. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to perceive our experiences with intentionality and grace. With the silent majesty of the starry night still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of delicate balance, as we observe the focused practice of a skilled musician, whose work with a stringed instrument will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true resonance and melodic beauty are found in the discerning balance between tension and flexibility. The musician and the tensioned string. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a serene performance hall, bathed in the soft glow of warm stage lights, where the air is still and carries the subtle scent of polished wood and aged instruments. Here, upon a simple wooden stool, we encounter Hero, a musician whose fingers, agile and sensitive, dance across the strings of his traditional stringed instrument with a captivating grace. His instrument, a beautifully crafted piece of art, seems to hum with an inner life, a profound stillness waiting to be awakened. Hero is not merely a performer, he is a silent philosopher of sound, his wisdom tuned by years of dedication, and his journey with the tensioned strings is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true resonance and melodic beauty emerge from a delicate balance between tension and flexibility, between effort and ease, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Hero's performance hall is a sanctuary of acoustic purity, a seamless integration of artistic expression and attentive listening. The hushed anticipation of the audience, the subtle creak of the old wooden floor, and the rhythmic beat of his own appreciative heart are the only sounds that precede his music. He works with an effortless grace, his gaze steady, his movements precise and economical, honed by years of patient practice. Yet, even Hero, with all his experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in his craft, particularly in the crucial act of tuning and playing his instrument. He observes how some younger musicians, in their eagerness, tighten their strings excessively, believing that more tension will produce a brighter, more powerful sound. Yet, these over-tightened strings often snap with a sharp, jarring noise, or produce a harsh, strained tone, a metaphor for overstriving and the burden of excessive rigidity. Others, perhaps out of caution or a lack of understanding, leave their strings too loose, believing that this will allow for more flexibility. Yet, these slack strings produce only dull, muted sounds, lacking clarity and resonance, reflecting a privation of engagement and a fear of necessary firmness. Hero, in his earlier years as a musician, had also grappled with these extremes in his pursuit of perfect sound. He vividly remembered the painful lessons when he would, in his youthful ambition, tighten his instrument's strings with an excessive, almost violent tension, convinced that more tautness meant greater brilliance. However, this often led to broken strings, the sudden snap echoing his frustration, or a tone that was shrill and unmusical, causing discomfort to both himself and his listeners. It was a form of indulgence in force that paradoxically destroyed the very harmony he sought. Conversely, there were times when he, out of an overly cautious fear of breaking a string or straining his instrument, would leave the strings too loose, his touch hesitant and weak. The instrument would produce only a muffled, indistinct sound, lacking any true melody or resonance, a clear case of privation leading to unfulfilled potential, a fear of necessary commitment. This struggle to correctly tension and play the instrument's strings, finding the optimal balance between tension and flexibility, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the demands of life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our lives with excessive rigidity, holding on to fixed beliefs, resisting change, or pushing ourselves relentlessly without allowing for rest, we risk breaking under pressure or producing a harsh, discordant existence, much like Hero's over-tightened strings. This overstriving, often driven by anxiety or a need for control, can lead to burnout, exhaustion, and a loss of our inner peace. Conversely, when we approach life with a lack of firmness, becoming overly passive, lacking boundaries, or failing to engage with sufficient conviction, we produce a dull, uninspired existence, lacking clarity and purpose, like Hero's slack strings. This privation of engagement, born from fear or apathy, prevents us from truly flourishing and realizing our full embodiment. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true resilience and melodic harmony arise from a balanced application of firmness and flexibility. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, neither attachment to desire nor attachment to self-mortification leads to liberation. The middle way is the path to liberation. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of finding the optimal tension in our lives, knowing when to hold firm and when to yield. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the ever-changing nature of existence, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our challenges without becoming entangled in the extremes of rigid resistance or passive pliability. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful responsiveness, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both strong and adaptable. One quiet evening, as Hero tuned his instrument before a performance, he felt the subtle vibration of each string, sensing its inherent readiness. He remembered the words of his old master, who had once told him, "The song is in the string, not in your hand. Your task is to find its natural voice, neither forcing it to scream nor allowing it to whisper too faintly." This profound insight, like a harmonious chord, settled deeply within him. He realized that the perfect tone was not about maximum tension or absolute looseness, but about finding the precise point of resonance where the string vibrated freely, producing its most beautiful sound. It was a dance between his skillful hand and the instrument's inherent nature, a seamless integration of presence and intuition, an ontological shift in his perception of music, leading to a visceral awareness of effortless beauty. From that day forward, Hiro approached his music with a heightened sense of presence and discernment. He learned to feel the subtle tension in his own body, to understand the nuanced strength required for each note, knowing instinctively when to apply pressure and when to release. His playing became imbued with a new kind of vitality, precise, powerful, yet possessing a delicate fluidity. Each melody he created was a testament to balance, its notes unfolding with an undeniable harmony, neither strained nor muted. His music became a seamless integration of his inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful practice, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who heard his performances. He was no longer trying to force the music, but allowing its inherent beauty to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every plucked string and every sustained note. Hiro's performance hall, with its interplay of musician and instrument, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our pursuit of success or happiness, become overly rigid, clinging to our plans and expectations, resisting the natural flow of change, only to find ourselves breaking under pressure or creating discordant outcomes? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or a lack of conviction, become overly pliable, lacking boundaries, and thus failing to express our true selves or achieve our potential? The middle way invites us to become mindful musicians of our own being, learning to tune our lives with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between firmness and flexibility, allowing us to engage with the world fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of rigid control or the passivity of inaction, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master, Alan Watts, often spoke of the importance of going with the flow without becoming a mere leaf on the stream. Hiro's realization that true resonance came from finding the optimal tension, allowing the string to sing its natural song without forcing or hindering it, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that genuine power is not found in forceful control, but in the harmonious balance of structure and freedom. This radical acceptance of the natural rhythm of life, combined with skillful, mindful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless grasping or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of effort and ease, a beautiful dance of becoming. As Hiro's melodies began to fill the hall with a new kind of balanced beauty, both strong and fluid, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning wisdom. The musician's story reminds us that true resilience and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming rigidity or stark passivity, but from the balanced interplay of tension and flexibility, of effort and ease. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to play our life's song with intentionality and grace. With the harmonious vibrations of Hiro's instrument still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of journey as we observe the focused trek of a seasoned pilgrim, whose work with a backpack will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way. revealing how true freedom and unburdened progress are found in the discerning balance between preparedness and lightness, the pilgrim and the backpack's weight. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a winding mountain trail, where the air is crisp and carries the fresh scent of pine and damp earth, and the rhythmic crunch of footsteps provides a solitary, meditative sound. Here, amidst the breathtaking vistas of peaks and valleys, we encounter Sarah, a pilgrim whose journey is not just a physical trek, but a profound quest for inner peace and clarity. Her backpack, though sturdy, holds a subtle lesson within its very design. Sarah is not merely a traveler, she is a silent philosopher of the path, her wisdom honed by countless miles and many lessons learned on the road. And her journey with the weight of her backpack is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true freedom and unburdened progress emerge from a delicate balance between preparedness and lightness, between carrying what is essential and letting go of the superfluous, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Sarah's pilgrimage is a testament to minimalist living, a seamless integration of physical endurance and mental fortitude. The distant call of a hawk, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the steady rhythm of her own breathing are the familiar sounds that accompany her days. She walks with an effortless grace, her gaze steady, her movements precise and economical, honed by years of patient observation. Yet, even Sarah, with all her experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in her journey, particularly concerning the weight she carries. She observes how some fellow pilgrims, in their eagerness to be fully prepared for every conceivable contingency, pack their backpacks with excessive items, believing that more provisions will ensure greater security. Yet, these overladen backpacks often cause exhaustion, slow their progress, and even lead to injuries, a metaphor for overstriving and the burden of excessive attachment. Others, perhaps out of a misguided desire for extreme lightness, carry too little, leaving themselves vulnerable to the elements or lacking essential supplies, reflecting a privation of foresight and a fear of necessary preparedness. Sarah, in her earlier years as a pilgrim, had also grappled with these extremes in her pursuit of an ideal journey. She vividly remembered the painful lessons when she would, in her youthful ambition, pack her backpack with an excessive amount of gear, convinced that more items meant greater comfort and safety. However, this often led to crushing fatigue, aching shoulders, and a slowed pace, turning the joy of the journey into a relentless burden. It was a form of indulgence in preparedness that paradoxically hindered her progress and diminished her experience. Conversely, there were times when she, out of an overly zealous desire for extreme lightness, would carry too little, leaving herself exposed to unexpected weather changes or lacking crucial provisions. This often resulted in discomfort, illness, or the need to cut her journey short, a clear case of privation leading to vulnerability and unfulfilled potential, a fear of necessary engagement with reality. This struggle to correctly pack her backpack, finding the optimal balance between preparedness and lightness, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to navigate the journey of life, a visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our lives with excessive attachment to possessions, beliefs, or even plans, accumulating more than we truly need, we risk becoming burdened, exhausted, and losing our agility, much like Sarah's overladen backpack. This overstriving for security or comfort, often driven by anxiety or a fear of scarcity, can lead to stagnation and a loss of our inner peace. Conversely, when we approach life with a lack of foresight, failing to prepare for challenges, or neglecting our fundamental needs, we leave ourselves vulnerable and unprepared, risking discomfort and unfulfilled potential, like Sarah's under-equipped backpack. This privation of necessary engagement born from complacency or a rejection of responsibility, prevents us from truly flourishing and realizing our full embodiment. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true freedom and unburdened progress arise from a balanced application of discernment and letting go. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, to live a pure, unselfish life, one must count nothing as one's own in the midst of abundance. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of understanding what is truly essential for our journey and what is merely superfluous weight. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the inherent impermanence of all things, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our path without becoming entangled in the extremes of overwhelming accumulation or rigid self-denial. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful preparedness, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both secure and agile. One quiet morning, as Sarah prepared for a particularly long stretch of her pilgrimage, she carefully examined the contents of her backpack. She remembered the words of a wise elder she had met on a previous journey, who had said, "Carry only what you need to survive today, and trust that tomorrow will provide what you need for tomorrow. The path is light when the heart is light." This profound insight, like the gentle warmth of the rising sun, settled deeply within her. She realized that the perfect backpack was not about having everything or nothing, but about having precisely what was essential for the journey. No more, no less. It was a dance between her practical needs and her trust in the unfolding path. A seamless integration of presence and faith, an ontological shift in her perception of preparedness, leading to a visceral awareness of true sufficiency. From that day forward, Sarah approached her packing and her journey with a heightened sense of presence and discernment. She learned to distinguish between true necessities and mere desires, understanding the nuanced value of each item, knowing instinctively what to carry and what to leave behind. Her steps became imbued with a new kind of vitality, light, steady, yet possessing a deep sense of resilience. Each day on the trail was a testament to balance, her progress unfolding with an undeniable grace, neither burdened nor vulnerable. Her pilgrimage became a seamless integration of her inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful living, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who saw her walk. She was no longer trying to force security, but allowing true freedom to emerge naturally from a balanced engagement with life, embodying the middle way in every step and every breath. Sarah's pilgrimage, with its interplay of traveler and backpack, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our pursuit of happiness or security, accumulate possessions, responsibilities, or even worries, believing that more will make us safe, only to find ourselves burdened and exhausted? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or a misguided desire for simplicity, strip away essential connections or necessary forms of support, leaving ourselves vulnerable and unprepared? The middle way invites us to become mindful pilgrims of our own being, learning to pack our lives with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between preparedness and lightness, allowing us to engage with the world fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of overaccumulation or the rigidity of scarcity, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master, Shunryu Suzuki, often spoke of not adding anything to it, not taking anything away. Sarah's realization that the perfect backpack contained neither too much nor too little, but simply what was essential, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that true freedom is not found in endless acquisition or ruthless asceticism, but in the harmonious balance of sufficiency. This radical acceptance of what is truly needed, combined with skillful, mindful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless grasping or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of wisdom and practicality, a beautiful dance of becoming. As Sarah's pilgrimage continued, her steps light and her spirit free, reflecting a new kind of balanced wisdom, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning insight. The pilgrim's story reminds us that true freedom and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming accumulation or stark privation, but from the balanced interplay of preparedness and lightness, of carrying what is essential and letting go of the superfluous. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to journey through our experiences with intentionality and grace. With the rhythmic crunch of Sarah's footsteps still softly resonating in our minds, let us now turn our attention to a different kind of guardianship, as we observe the patient care of an elder who tends a sacred fire, whose work will further illuminate the profound insights of the middle way, revealing how true vitality and enduring warmth are found in the discerning balance between nourishment and restraint, the guardian of the sacred fire. Let us now allow our awareness to gently shift towards a deep, ancient cavern, hidden amidst rugged mountains, where the air is cool and damp, and the only source of light and warmth emanates from a single, continuously burning flame. Here, within the profound stillness of the earth, we encounter Kalen, an elder whose life is dedicated to tending this sacred, ritualistic fire, a flame that has burned for generations, symbolizing the enduring spirit of the community. Kalen is not merely a caretaker. He is a silent guardian of life's vital spark. His wisdom, honed by years of observing the delicate dance between combustion and sustenance, and his practice of maintaining the sacred fire, is about to illuminate a profound aspect of the middle way, revealing how true vitality and enduring warmth emerge from a delicate balance between nourishment and restraint, between giving and allowing, fostering a deep sense of presence and intentionality. Kalen's cavern sanctuary is a realm of primal elements and focused reverence, a seamless integration of human dedication and natural force. The flickering light of the fire dances on the damp rock walls, casting shifting shadows that seem to breathe with ancient secrets. The subtle crackle and hiss of the burning wood, the earthy scent of smoke, and the radiating warmth are the familiar sensations that fill his space. He works with an effortless grace, his gaze steady, his movements precise and economical, honed by years of patient observation. Yet even Kalen, with all his experience, knows the subtle challenges inherent in his sacred task, particularly in the crucial act of feeding the flame. He observes how some younger guardians, in their eagerness, pile too much wood onto the fire, believing that more fuel will create a stronger, more powerful blaze. Yet, these overfed fires often suffocate, their flames dwindling amidst unburnt logs and thick smoke, a metaphor for overindulgence and the burden of excess. Others, perhaps out of caution or a lack of understanding, add too little wood, allowing the fire to dwindle to mere embers, threatening to extinguish completely, reflecting a privation of engagement and a fear of necessary sustenance. Kalen, in his earlier years as a guardian, had also grappled with these extremes in his pursuit of keeping the sacred fire alive. He vividly remembered the painful lessons when he would, in his youthful ambition, heap an excessive amount of wood onto the flames, convinced that more fuel meant a more enduring fire. However, this often led to the fire choking, its vibrant orange collapsing into a smoldering, smoky mess, its life force almost extinguished. It was a form of indulgence in abundance that paradoxically threatened the very existence of the flame. Conversely, there were times when he, out of an overly cautious fear of consuming too much wood or disturbing the fire's delicate balance, would add too little fuel. The fire would slowly weaken, its warmth diminishing, its light fading. A clear case of privation leading to vulnerability and potential loss. A fear of necessary nourishment. This struggle to correctly tend the sacred fire, finding the optimal balance between nourishment and restraint, is a powerful metaphor for our own attempts to maintain the vitality of our inner consciousness. A visceral embodiment of the middle way. When we approach our inner life with excessive stimulation, constantly seeking external validation, or overwhelming our minds with endless information, we risk suffocating our true essence, our inner flame dwindling amidst the unburnt logs of distraction, much like Kalen's overfed fires. This overindulgence, often driven by a need for constant engagement or a fear of stillness, can lead to burnout, exhaustion, and a loss of our inner peace. Conversely, when we approach our inner world with a lack of attention, neglecting our spiritual practices, or failing to nourish our minds and hearts, we risk allowing our inner flame to dwindle, its warmth and light fading like Kalen's underfed fires. This privation of necessary engagement, born from apathy or a lack of self-care, prevents us from truly flourishing and realizing our full embodiment. The profound stillness found within the Buddhist teachings offers a guiding light in this dilemma, emphasizing that true vitality and enduring consciousness arise from a balanced application of mindful nourishment and discerning restraint. As it is often attributed to the Buddha, radiate boundless love towards the entire world. This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of nurturing our inner flame with compassion and wisdom, understanding that it requires a delicate balance of inputs. The middle way encourages us to cultivate a sense of equanimity, a radical acceptance of the dynamic nature of our inner life, and a non-striving attitude that allows us to engage with our consciousness without becoming entangled in the extremes of overwhelming stimulation or rigid neglect. It is about finding that optimal point of mindful tending, fostering a deep sense of spaciousness and cognitive ease, allowing us to be both vibrant and profoundly peaceful. One quiet evening, as Kalen sat before the sacred fire, its flames dancing with a mesmerizing rhythm, he felt its subtle warmth against his skin. He remembered the words of his predecessor, the elder who had first taught him, who had said, "The fire breathes, just as you do. Give it air, give it wood, but never smother its breath, nor starve its hunger. It knows its own needs." This profound insight, like the subtle crackle of the burning logs, settled deeply within him. He realized that the true art was not in forcing the fire to burn brighter or to last longer, but in understanding its inherent nature, in collaborating with its life force. It was a dance between his skillful hand and the fire's vital energy, a seamless integration of presence and reverence, an ontological shift in his perception of guardianship, leading to a visceral awareness of interconnectedness. From that day forward, Kalen approached his task with a heightened sense of presence and discernment. He learned to read the subtle language of the flames, understanding their hunger and their need for air, knowing instinctively when to add a small log and when to simply allow it to burn. His actions became imbued with a new kind of vitality, efficient, sustainable, yet possessing a deep sense of humility. The sacred fire he tended was a testament to balance, its light and warmth radiating with an undeniable consistency, neither overwhelming nor fading. His guardianship became a seamless integration of his inner intention and the external manifestation, a profound stillness that spoke volumes of mindful stewardship, radiating a sense of equanimity that touched all who entered the cavern. He was no longer trying to force the fire, but allowing its inherent life to emerge naturally, embodying the middle way in every tending and every moment of watchfulness. Kalen's cavern, with its interplay of guardian and sacred fire, becomes a powerful crucible for understanding the middle way in our own lives. How often do we, in our desire for a vibrant inner life, overwhelm ourselves with too many spiritual practices, too much information, or too many external pursuits, only to find our inner flame smothered and our peace disturbed? Or conversely, how often do we, out of fear or complacency, neglect our inner world, failing to nourish our minds and hearts, allowing our vital spark to dwindle to mere embers? The middle way invites us to become mindful guardians of our own consciousness, learning to tend our inner fire with discerning intentionality. It encourages us to cultivate a balance between nourishment and restraint, allowing us to engage with our spiritual journey fully, yet with a spaciousness that frees us from the burden of overstimulation or the rigidity of neglect, fostering cognitive ease and a deep sense of groundedness. The revered Zen master Shunryu Suzuki often spoke of, "Each moment is the only moment." Kalen's realization that the fire required continuous mindful attention, neither too much nor too little, perfectly embodies this principle of non-striving. It is about understanding that true vitality is not found in grand gestures or extreme asceticism, but in the harmonious balance of present moment awareness. This radical acceptance of the dynamic nature of life, combined with skillful mindful action, allows us to live with a profound stillness and integrity, fostering deeper connection and a grounded presence, rather than creating a cycle of endless grasping or passive resignation. It is a seamless integration of inner wisdom and outer action, a beautiful dance of becoming. As Kalen's sacred fire continued to burn with a new kind of balanced vitality, radiating its light and warmth consistently, we too are invited to approach our lives with such discerning insight. The Guardian story reminds us that true vitality and profound stillness emerge not from the extremes of overwhelming stimulation or stark neglect, but from the balanced interplay of nourishment and restraint, of giving and allowing. We learn that the art of living lies in finding that precise measure, that perfect equilibrium that allows us to tend our inner flame with intentionality and grace. With the steady glow of the sacred fire still softly illuminating our minds, let us now gently transition to a space of profound rest, preparing to embrace the deep peace that awaits, the walker's rest. Now, as the echoes of these ancient stories gently recede, allow your awareness to return softly to the quiet sanctuary of your own body, to the gentle rhythm of your breath, a profound stillness in motion. You are here, in this moment, in this space, and that truly is enough. There is nothing more you need to seek, nothing more you need to achieve, nothing more you need to understand. Simply allow yourself to be, to rest, to settle into the inherent wisdom that resides within you, a deep sense of groundedness. Feel the gentle support beneath you, whether it is your bed, your cushion, or the earth itself. Allow your muscles to soften, your bones to feel heavy, releasing any lingering tension from your day, from your thoughts, from your journey. Permit your breath to deepen, expanding softly into your belly, then gently exhaling, carrying away any lingering traces of effort or worry, fostering a sense of spaciousness within your being. This is a moment of radical acceptance, a profound stillness that invites complete relaxation, a seamless integration of mind and body. You have walked far through many landscapes of thought and story, exploring the delicate dance of the middle way. Now, it is time to lay down the weight of all journeys, all striving, all searching. Recognize that the balance you seek, the peace you yearn for, is not a destination to be reached, but a state of being to be embraced, already present within you, a deep sense of equanimity. It is the wisdom of knowing that you are precisely where you need to be, held in the quiet embrace of this moment. Allow your mind to drift, to soften, to release any thoughts that may still cling like morning mist. Imagine them dissolving, gently, effortlessly, into the vast open sky of your consciousness. There is no need to hold on to anything, no need to push anything away. Simply allow, simply be. The path of profound stillness is one of effortless being, a non-striving that allows for complete surrender to the present. As you prepare to transition into deep, restorative sleep, remember that this space of peace is always available to you. It is your inner sanctuary, your quiet haven, a place where you can always return to find balance, clarity, and profound stillness. You are worthy of this rest, worthy of this peace, worthy of this gentle unfolding into the mysteries of sleep. Your body knows how to rest, your mind knows how to surrender, your spirit knows how to renew. If these words have resonated with a quiet truth within your heart, if this space has offered you a moment of solace and deep relaxation, consider subscribing. By doing so, you ensure that this tranquil haven remains accessible for you whenever you need to return, to reconnect with the wisdom of the middle way, and to find your way back to this profound stillness. It is a gentle invitation, with no obligation, only the possibility of future peace. Now, with each deepening breath, feel yourself sinking further into comfort, into quietude, into the soft embrace of the night. You are safe, you are held, you are cherished. Let go completely. Allow the gentle current of sleep to carry you effortlessly into dreams of peace and renewal. May your rest be deep and restorative, a truly unburdened and profoundly still experience. Good night.